Hello, all guys, gals, and non-binary pals. Welcome to the newest episode of the Noobs and Knockouts Podcast, brought to you on YouTube, on Spotify, on Google, and Apple Podcasts. I'm Austin. I'm a knockout. Watch a lot of wrestling.
I'm David. I'm a noob. Haven't watched nearly as much wrestling. I come to you today thinking bigly about a topic that I think we all could benefit from. I have decided, Austin, to follow in the footsteps of my hero, Terry Hulk Hogan Balea, and actually start my own other podcast as a pure vanity project. Because as we all know, there is nothing more successful in this world. So I come today. Actually, this is my last day on the Noobs and Knockouts podcast because I am going to watch what we are here to watch today, and I'm sure be so taken with the power, the style, and the grace of the vanity project that I will have no choice but to depart and create my own podcast catered directly toward me and everything that I stand for with my image, and I'm sure it will be totally fine and nothing will go wrong.
I can't wait to have to tell the story of the XWF, and then you can be like, this is actually a bad idea that will flop entirely.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Terry Bollea is a brilliant man, and every idea he comes up with is perfect, actually.
Pastamania, brilliant. Hulk rules, brilliant.
Exactly. Like, have you heard a greater musical album in this world than Hulk Rules? No, you haven't. Have you eaten at a better restaurant in this universe than Pastamania? No, you haven't.
Santa with muscles. Fantastic movie.
Santa with muscles. Let me tell you, everyone over here is off memeing and deeming. I don't know if that's a fucking phrase. Memeing and whatever.
Probably not.
I don't know. On how, the Muppet Christmas Carol is the greatest Christmas movie of all time. No, fuck, what? Get that trash out of here. The only thing that makes it feel like Christmas up in this house is Santa with muscles. Thank you very much.
Of course, as today we are covering the first of the lost episodes of the XWF. Because the front half is going to be me giving a history lesson on the entire existence of the XWF, because that's important to understanding why this episode is the way it is.
I clearly only lost because the public was too scared of its power, so they locked it away where they did not have.
Well, someone was too scared. We'll get to the story on that in a second.
Oh dear. Oh boy.
I also, for those of you watching in the video version of this, I'm not at my desk because I am prone to lower body injuries. And so I can't really comfortably walk right now. So we're just doing this from my bed.
Austin is over here putting every motherfucker who's gotten injured in the wrestling business to shame by you fucking we talk
like
about
a classic like all wrestlers. I know to work hurt. Yeah, you got to work hurt to keep your spot, and so I am here.
Yeah, fucking again, people are always focusing on the wrong thing. Everyone's always going on about motherfucking Cody Rhodes wrestling an entire heck in a sec match with a torn pec. Excuse you, why are you not giving true credence to the greatest hero of such feats, which is of course the great Austin Leach, who is working more torn pec, wrestling through a torn pec. Nothing. Podcasting through a fucked up leg. Oh, now that shit, that takes dedication right there.
Mm-hmm. So let's get back to the XWF, but I did want to cover that for anyone watching this on the video, why I am in a much different setting this time. But
he is dead.
Yes. So the XWF was formed. First of all, what does that stand for? The answer is I can't get a good answer on that.
What?
The show is kind of iffy about what it stands for.
What?
Some people seems to think it's Extreme Wrestling Federation.
That's what I
I
would
have
think.
seen
Yeah.
people call it the X Wrestling Federation because the X is the missing variable in the sport. You get it? The X
Uh.
factor. And
Okay.
however, the Wikipedia page calls it Excitement Wrestling Federation, which I've never seen anyone use in the actual show.
Hmm.
So
Uh,
we're off to a great start.
hey, you know what helps your vanity project out? If you gotta keep them guessing. That's what this is. That brilliant. No, it's genius marketing. You'll have people talking for weeks about what the name of the company might be. It could be a great mystery for the fans. There's nothing wrong with this. Nothing at all.
Well, we've been calling it a vanity project. I don't know how fair that is because Hulk Hogan is remarkably removed from a lot of what's actually happening here.
Really?
He is just the face of the company, and that is going to be very funny in like 5 minutes. So,
Oh my God.
the Excitement Wrestling Federation, or whatever,
Whatever the fuck it is.
was basically the brainchild of American entrepreneur Kevin Harrington. He basically became a millionaire due to the pot helping proliferate, TV advert, not what's the word, 30-minute ad infomercials in
Oh,
the 90s. He helped pioneer that, and he made a shitload of money on as seen on TV crap.
that's
So he in the death of this is a fascinating period of wrestling history.
Hmm.
The post WCW world. And this is in particular the pre TNA and pre Ring of Honor world, as both of
Oh,
those companies don't start up until June 2002 and February 2002 respectively.
that's kind of wild how like both of the big like early WWF early 2000s WWF alternatives like came out in such close succession of one another and kind of became the two of the other like big staples of the industry, at least in America. That's
Yeah,
kind
I
of
mean,
nuts.
it was a situation where like people saw there's a vacuum
Hmm.
in without WCW and without ECW,
Yep.
and they were desperate to kind of find a way to fill the void. Like a lot of the wrestlers from on the XWF, TNA, and Ring of Honor were all like dudes who were in WCW that WW or even just trying to do 90s indies for as much as that existed, and it didn't exist very much,
Mm.
and or late ECW and that WWE didn't want. So they're like, hey, here's a new thing so you can keep having a job.
that the job security. I do appreciate the like the fact that like especially with fucking TNA, which is what Jeff Jarrett's baby or no? Yeah,
That
Jeff
was
Jarrett's baby.
Jeff. That was
Yeah,
that was the Jarrett's baby.
yeah, Jeff Jarrett's baby. Everyone's just like because Ring of Honor was a lot of like younger guys, younger newer guys.
Ring of Honor was it more quickly established itself as like wrestling. Like we are
Wrestling.
here for the hardcores who like work rate.
Yeah.
Whereas TNA felt like it was trying to do the things that 2000s WCW was doing,
Yeah.
as if that wasn't a problem.
As if there was absolutely nothing wrong with such spots as Kevin Nash abducting Ric Flair's son. No.
The problem was the TNA decided that the problem was Jeff Jarrett didn't El Kabong enough people.
So somehow when Jeff Jarrett was at the helm, the problem to be solved was how much Jeff Jarrett was on TV. We want to talk. Yeah, fuck. Maybe I was memeing on the wrong promotion here. The real fucking vanity product the whole time was goddamn TNA. Yeah. Jeff
You could
Jarrett over
argue
here
that.
being like hey, you got jobbinted by the Federation and or the death of WCW, so we're buddies. Let's hang out, huh? Like, if you come here and, like, you know, add legitimacy to this promotion I made specifically just so I can, like, show my face a bunch the fuck more on TV, we're good. You can get some money and literally everyone who was, like, just randomly fucking put out of a job by all this shit in the early 2000s was like, you know, shockingly, that actually sounds like a good idea.
Like, well, I'm weighing my options and
Weighing
seeing I
my
don't have
options.
many.
Man, I'm weighing my options. Passively put over Jeff Jarrett constantly and get money out of it, or jobbint. Tough call there.
Yeah. But 2001 is this weird, like, we are dead on the heels of
No man's
everybody's gone.
Everybody.
So Kevin Harrington saw this void, and especially from WCW falling, and he felt that there's room for an alternative.
Definitely.
And they make that clear. They weren't looking to compete with WWE. They were trying to be an alternative.
Absolutely. Which that's a weird little distinction to make, but sure.
And so he got together with the finest wrestling minds available to him at the time.
Oh.
Which was, of course, the Nasty Boys and Jimmy Hart.
Yeah, wait, from what I heard, isn't Jimmy Hart actually kind of legit, like, behind the scenes? I've heard.
He is pretty good.
Yeah.
But it's a fun meme to say it.
The man got fucking recruited into Wrestlicious. He's got to have some kind of
rep for
actually being
XWF, baby. Let's go.
Yeah, that's the power Jimmy Hart has, the ultimate hype man. Anyway,
our favorite guy who takes 15 minutes to warm up, Greg Valentine, also a co-owner of this production.
Baby, fucking imagine those board meetings.
He takes 15 minutes to really start making good points at the board meetings.
Everyone sits there for about 15 minutes and, like, this could have been an email. And by the end of it, they're like giving a standing ovation. Yeah. Like, every time we forget, we never learn.
And obviously, Jimmy Hart means you can get Hulk Hogan.
Doesn't the Nasty Boys also mean you can get Hulk Hogan?
Yes, the Nasty Boys and Jimmy Hart are both part of the Hulk Hogan Friends Wrestling Network.
The Super Friends, if you will.
Indeed. And so what kind of wrestling did they want to be? They intended to be explicitly a family-friendly entertainment company. They looked at it like, and this is something that WCW talked about being in the Attitude Era. Eric Bischoff in particular was very much kind of like upped his nose, kind of like was like looked at WWF at the Attitude Era as like, you're going to turn away all the sponsors for that, doing that shit.
Look, I agree that the Attitude Era is filled with a bunch of, like, really childish bullshit, but it was the 90s, man. Everyone was all in on that childish bullshit.
It worked, but they wanted it to be something similar to what WCW was pre-NWO in terms of, like, vibe and content rating, stuff like that.
Wait, was WCW, like, from what I could, were they trying to be super family friendly pre-NWO?
Yeah, it was still considered a pretty, like, thing you can safely bring the kids to kind of wrestling.
Well, because, like, from what I hear about, like, WCW, like, pre-NWO and in the early days of NWO, and from what I've seen of WCW in the early days of NWO, it feels, at least to me, it feels very much like AEW feels now, of like, this is the wrestling show. This is the one where we kind of do it like it's a little more sports.
It's still got its kind of traditional Southern wrestling roots, which includes that. But it wasn't trying to, like, push any buttons, really.
Okay.
It wasn't trying to be risque or nothing.
considering they did have Hogan there again pre-NWO doing like
Yeah.
the nostalgia act bit, that actually does make sense because at that point like the Hulkamaniacs were an established like demographic of small children who would badger their parents to eat Hulkaroos at Pastamania, brother.
Until they went until they went to heaven and met Hulk Hogan or something.
Fucking...
We already established Hulkamania is a death cult. We got so like all right, so and the tagline for the XWF, and like I said, the Hulk Hogan thing is going to be funny in 5 minutes, is no more prima donnas.
Oh,
Guys who like wrestling. That's the kind of wrestlers they wanted. Is no more prima donnas.
No more prima donnas. Well, let me tell you something, dude.
Let me tell you something, dude. The thing that's making wrestling bad today, brother, is it's filled with prima donnas, Jack.
These guys who are so full of themselves, they can't. They're these prissy bitches who can't fucking stand not being treated with the utmost dignity and respect in the limelight. They gotta have their perfect treatment all the time, brother. And I'm getting tired of it. Hey, Hulk, we need you to put over the smaller guy next week. Oh yeah, that's not gonna work for me, brother. Now let me tell you about these fucking prima donnas. Prima donna, first lady of the stage, brother.
Yeah,
I was just imagining Hulk Hogan in Phantom of the Opera.
The roster of this of this company, they try to hype it up as like it was the past, present, and future, daddy. But it was basically like a combination, a pretty decent mix of like older wrestlers that WWE didn't see any value in anymore, that had especially guys who WCW did find value in, and younger guys who were in late WCW that WWE wasn't interested in.
Yeah.
And then after the fact would transition immediately into Ring of Honor and TNA.
Oh, easy money.
Mm-hmm. And so basically what they did is, this is still 2001. So how are you going to get this company off the ground? And the answer is get them on TV. So What they did is they shacked up at Universal Studios in Orlando. The same place TNA would film their shit.
This is the same place where now AEW films Darka every once in a while.
They shacked on up to Universal Studios and they filmed 10 episodes worth of content.
Ooh.
To sell to, to have stuff to sell to the TV executives.
You gotta have that content library built up, Absolutely.
Yeah, so they got the big roster of stars. They got their commentary team as legit as as legit as you could have found in 2001. The combination of Tony Schiavone coming right off of WCW and our boy Jerry Lawler, who remember when I talked about how he quit the WWF and protests of his wife getting fired?
Mm-hmm.
This is this brief moment of time where he's doing
that. I thought I was free from you for a little bit.
Sorry about that.
Why are you back?
So this is the commentary team. We're ready to go. And, well, they had trouble finding TV execs to talk to them because...
Yeah, really.
With post WCW, like the wrestling bubble is popping.
Oh my God! Everyone saw like how fucking the tragedy of Ted Turner in like trying to get his goddamn baby, his wrestling baby, to live. Goddamn it! And how it just all burned down in flames despite everybody's protests against him for like doing this, and they're like, yeah, that doesn't seem like a good idea. So
yeah, basically nobody wanted anything to do with wrestling if it wasn't the WWE in 2001.
The guaranteed money, baby.
they had trouble getting meetings with TV executives. Eventually, Kevin Harrington kind of sold the company over to Jimmy Hart, and Jimmy Hart made some headway. But then here comes the other problem. In September of 2011, or fall 2011, not 2011,
2001, I was going to say.
In fall of 2001, WWE started calling up a lot of the big stars in the XWF.
Oh, did they now?
Hulk Hogan,
Mm.
Kurt Hennig,
Mm.
Jerry Lawler.
Mm.
I don't immediately off the top of my head know other people, but this was the problem they ran into, is they had all these episodes of TV. When they could get a TV executive to talk to them, the TV execs would watch the episodes and see the roster and be like, holy shit,
yeah,
you got some real stars here. This is awesome. And then they got to be like, well, you see.
And Vince McMahon, well, you see, Vince McMahon caught wind of this and pissed his pants. So,
yeah. So, like, because they only had these guys under contract for the 10 episodes taping that they taped.
Oh, no.
So, they signed away pretty much all the big stars on these tapings, and suddenly TV execs are like, well, never mind.
What the fuck? That's so funny. Vince just shamelessly poaching talent to just kill another potential rival, and
I don't know if he even knows about this. He was just heard like, what's Hulk Hogan doing? Nothing. Okay. Giving him a call. Terry,
but like,
I want you back.
That I don't know. The fact that like Hogan getting a call, okay, maybe I could maybe see that, because like, I don't know, Vince just sometimes likes to bring Hulk in for whatever the fuck. But like, Lawler getting a call after fucking quitting in protest of his wife's.
Well, see, it's fine, because then he divorced his wife that same year that he quit in protest of, and he's like, I'm back. I'm coming back. Ha ha.
Yeah, but like, did he approach Vince, or did Vince approach him?
I actually do not remember.
Because like, if he approached Vince like post-divorce, then fine. Okay. But like, if Vince approached him after he like left like that, that seems like a weird move for Vince to do, unless he knows what's going on.
So basically, the XWF kind of flounder around, but I mean, what can you do with these 10 episode tapes where all the biggest stars on them aren't even available to you anymore?
You could probably sell them. Have a nice little VHS that gets some money. You get a little return on your investment.
Well, okay. Fast forward to 2005, where
2005? 4 years later?
Yes. 2005, where they basically pieced together the best of this footage that they can use, put 3 episodes on a DVD, and call it the Lost Episodes of the XWF.
What the fuck?
And this is the only reason these episodes of this content of the XWF has ever made air.
What? Why were they holding on to it for that long?
Because they were still trying to like figure out some way to get XWF in some form or fashion on TV.
For 4 years? Wow, that's unfortunate. They were trying so hard.
Jimmy was talking real hard, Daddy.
Jimmy Hart seems like a driven individual. Jimmy Hart seems like the kind of guy who does not take no for an answer unless he absolutely has to.
Yeah. And so these 3 episodes plus, Hogan did wrestle 1 match in the XWF against Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig. And that match managed to find its way onto a WWE career Hulk Hogan match compilation box set DVD.
Okay.
In like 2008 or something.
What the fuck? This is like some of the more easily accessible lost media I've heard about, but also it's still wild to me that they just felt like digging that one up.
Yeah, I don't really know why they made that decision to be like, we got to have this XWF match, Because it's not like Hogan wrestled Kurt Hennig in the early 90s when they were both in the WWF and in their primes. I don't know why they were like, give me the 2001 match from the XWF. But, you know, they did.
It's got that allure of lost media to it that all the kids these days actually no the lost media craze wasn't hitting in 2008. Why the fuck did they? I don't know. Maybe was it burning a hole in their content library? Was they just like itching to show it all? Like was that a Hogan request? That you know what that might have been a Hogan request. Come to think of it. I can see Hogan being like, "We got to get all the good stuff on there, brother. Every last bit of it."
He's doing a solid for Jimmy and the Nasty Boys, getting the XWF on the WWF DVD.
I will not have that bullshit be for nothing. Somebody needs to see this, brother.
Someone needs to see this match, dude.
Everybody needs to see how I so valiantly put my neck out for my boys, Jimmy Hart and the Nasty Boys.
Absolutely. So tonight we're again watching episode 1 of the lost episodes of the XWF, and like I don't know I haven't watched it, of course. I don't know the quality of the show, but the XWF story fascinates me as a
absolutely.
what if, because they basically didn't do anything wrong, and like probably could have sustained themselves all right if they made it onto TV. Ring of Honor, and if they do sustain themselves, what happens to Ring of Honor and TNA?
Do they exist? Do we get fucking AEW as we know it today? How long does XWF survive? This is like there's the lost media aspect to it, but there's also you're right, an interesting what if to all this. I'm interested to dive in, and obviously with my quite limited perspective being but a noob, I'm interested to dive in and kind of try to analyze, could this have had legs, and what
because it's like it's very rare for a wrestling company to fall because they didn't fuck up in some way. It's usually an easily identifiable fuck up. And the XWF was basically just, it was a little too early after the Monday Night Wars ended to get another wrestling show off the ground.
And like a really unfortunate, just like intentional or no, talent poaching from Vince.
Yeah.
That just kind of sunk their ability to even get on TV in the fucking first place.
Right. So it's like, I am curious to know, like, from watching this episode, like, how sustainable could it have been, maybe?
Yeah. What is the quality? The other question too being, would people of the time have appreciated what they were presenting? How does it stack up to kind of like this one? You'll obviously know a lot more than I do, and I'll be interested to hear your take on it. It's like how it stacks up to early TNA and ROH. And one more question that I'd be wondering about, and again, this one is going to be like super speculative. I don't know if we'd be able to really acceptably answer it, but going into this thinking too about how would this have shaped the landscape had it succeeded? Would the culture would like the culture of wrestling and what the fandom appreciates be different in an XWF world? I don't know.
Yeah, it's a lot of unanswerable questions with the XWF.
But we're here to give it a shot anyway, because what is a podcast for? But to just kind of speculate, to try to authoritatively speculate on questions that nobody can answer.
Of course.
Absolutely.
So if you want to watch this with us, I mean, obviously it is a DVD that you could go buy.
You can purchase it.
However,
give Terry a little bit of extra pocket cash from residuals. You know.
Thanks for the XWF bite, dude.
Thanks for that. I hope I get a card from him saying thanks for the XWF bite, dude.
But all 3 episodes of the XWF that are in this DVD have been ripped from the DVD and put in full on YouTube. So that's how we're doing it tonight. This is very easily accessible relative to most stuff we watch on this show.
Oh, extremely. And again, relatively easily accessible as lost media too. Not all that lost. Turns out we actually got it right here. It's fine.
It was lost in 2005. Now it has been found. It has been found, and now we're good.
But now I was found. Amazing XWF. Anyway.
Yep. So you can watch it on YouTube along with us. We'll be back in the back half to talk more about episode 1 of the XWF in your face.
Oh, shit.
And we are back. We have just watched episode 1 of the lost episodes of XWF, or sometimes WXF. There was a lot of logo confusion here.
That logo. Off the bat. Yeah. We were talking about name confusion at the start of this. Fucking logo confusion, too. Jesus Christ. Like, it was XWF, but the logo read like WXF, and like I get what they were going for because like the X was in the center and it was all big, but like that's not how reading works, guys. At least not in the English language.
You got like regular left to right, you got like manga right to left, but have you considered middle to left to right?
Middle to left to right. How does that work? Don't ask us. Just accept it. Also, like, dude, I'm not gonna lie. That's a fucking ugly ass logo. God damn. It's like this kind of like slightly cartoony letters, and the X are like made to look like metal bars over some dude's face.
Is in your face. Everything about this presentation is in your face, all right.
Oh, the X is in his face. Really?
I didn't even think of that.
I bet that's what they were going for, and it's fucking dumb.
Yeah, a little bit. We ended the last bit like asking ourselves, what if the XFL fucking hell?
Oh wow.
The XWF had a real shot on television, and I don't know if we got enough information on this to get a conclusion on that. I lean towards they could have made it, and I have reasons for that.
Yeah.
But do not have enough info. This was, first of all, it's cut-ups of the 10 episodes. It's not like this was one cohesive episode they were trying to show off. No, they had different logos on the ring apron.
I didn't notice that. I'll be honest.
WXF I did not logo was not on the ring apron every time.
I did not notice that. I'll be honest.
So it's cut-ups of these different episodes. Plus, like, the episode has a very pilot-y feel of like, we are trying to introduce as much of our roster to you as possible right now.
Dude, so many fucking like matches on this card. We had that goddamn cruiserweight battle royal scramble thing where Tony Schiavone was desperately trying to introduce every single cruiserweight in the ring as it was happening. Like, they had a lot going on here.
They do, and it's like, and we don't have any idea of like when they get around to having to do week-to-week stories, like how is that going to look? We don't know. I mean,
were the episodes, were the 10, as far as you know, were the 10 episodes as they were taped an hour? Were they meant to be hour-long episodes?
That's my understanding.
Okay. And I guess furthermore, would it have continued to only be a single hour if moved to television? Because I assume not.
I would assume they would have tried to get an hour just because that was probably the most they could get as an unknown, unproven kind of thing.
I suppose, but like I guess I'd like to think that they could move into like longer episodes, but who fucking knows?
I feel like the talent was absolutely there. Like, as much as they toot their own horn about how much they had the talent there, looking at the roster they had in 2001, I do agree with them on that.
Yeah, they weren't talking out their own ass here.
No, they had a lot of like known. If you have watched wrestling in the last 5 years, especially WCW, they got a lot of people you've heard of.
Oh yeah,
as well
and a
as
lot
the
of the
old
and a lot of like
people.
young guys too. Young
Oh yeah, who
new,
could have
exciting
carried
guys
it
to
like
back it
work
up.
rate wise.
Oh yeah, easily.
So I think they had the talent to do it. Again, I don't think there's enough story. I don't think they were even trying to do enough storyline stuff, especially for a thing like when we're just putting together like a best of like 3 episodes worth of shit to put on a DVD after we're done. So like we don't know what a real episode of the XWF would have looked like. So it's hard to say like would it or could it have worked?
This is true. I want to know like if there were inventions of the DVD release that were on here besides like the Jimmy Hart Nasty Boy interludes, because they had a bunch of like these weird random little inserts, and I couldn't tell how much of that was like supposed to be the actual show and how much was them just like throwing it into the DVD, because why the fuck not?
I feel like most of it would have been used on TV.
Okay.
They would have used the celebrity cameos on TV.
Well, yeah, they would have used that.
Yeah, I feel like the wrestlers being like, "Yeah, in your face," would have been like a quick insert thing in lieu of giving them like a real promo.
I suppose, but it was so random, and like
A little
they
bit.
popped up throughout. Like it was just random wrestlers being like, "Hey, I'm this wrestler in your face," and then it just cut away. Like, what? That thank you, thanks for that.
Yeah. Let's just go through it and we can talk about different creative choices they make throughout the shoot.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah.
So I mean, we do open with Brian Knobbs of the Nasty Boys, and Jimmy Hart out to basically they are here to kind of like tell the narrative of the XWF.
Yeah, they gave me essentially the same explanation that Austin did.
Yeah, they start with that. I make a joke about the aesthetic choice here, all these like flashing lights and the weird, ugly looking logo. It feels very 2001, no matter how much it's trying to be like more family-friendly wrestling from an older era.
Oh, it's extremely 2001. Explosion graphics everywhere. That dumb fuck logo, which I guess there's like multiple versions of it, which again, I didn't even notice. Like, it's very of the time, and it's very like demographically safe.
Yeah,
I would say. Nothing too daring here. They're just kind of going with like, what looks cool and can draw people in? Explosions, random dudes on screen, boom, boom, boom. Oh Jesus!
Yeah,
fucking the sense is being assaulted here. But yeah,
so that obviously in a real XWF would have been really annoying. But we don't know how long they would have done that. Like we don't like. Is that a thing they do a couple episodes on just to get everyone on screen, and then they're like, okay, moving on. We're gonna do like
I don't know
real promos here now, or what?
I have no idea. God, so many fucking questions left unanswered. Jesus.
Unfortunately. And then we get American Made.
Yeah, Hulk Hogan is like the whole fucking opening sequence here, and just lot of shirt ripping, lot of flexing, no prima donnas here, nothing to see here. Move along.
Hilarious, but he's like, what you gonna do when the XWF runs wild on you?
I think I'll just lay down and cry because that sounds very uncomfortable.
Yep. So then we get to the real show. Mean Gene Okerlund is here, presumably in a more interview role in like another episode he would be, but here he's just kind of like, welcome everyone to the XWF.
Mean Gene is here. It's so funny to me because Mean Gene was with WWF for like a decent amount, and then they fired him, and he just kind of like went on and did everything else. He was on WCW and apparently he did fucking XWF. Did he ever come back to the Fed after this?
Oh yes, he'll be back. He comes back when Hogan comes back because he's part of the Hulk Hogan Friendship Network. Remember?
Yeah, I didn't realize that Mean Gene was actually one of the Hulk Hogan super friends. I did not realize that.
He is.
Aww.
He also tends to like go everywhere that Hogan goes.
Okay, that's actually kind of wholesome because I love Gene. So him getting him having a spot in the Super Friends it's fine.
Yeah. After Mean Gene intros the show, we cut to the commentary booth and Tony Schiavone introduces himself. And he talks about how he was going to leave wrestling, and this is true. He was ready to go when WCW was going down.
Oh no.
Like, you want to talk about a guy who lost all passion for the job.
Really?
Tony Schiavone.
Really?
Oh, yeah. He hated everything to do with what WCW became.
Yeah, that sounds like Schiavone.
There's a reason why, like, after WCW, he does this. He pops up in TNA once. And then just goes to call, like, baseball games in Georgia for 15 years until AEW calls him.
Really?
Yeah,
that's fucking wild to me.
Gets out of wrestling for a decade and a half.
What the shit? So Schiavone was like from the get-go like hashtag never WWE guy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much of that was WWE just didn't want him or he didn't want to go to WWE, but like, yeah, he pretty much never went to WWE.
That's so insane to me. Like,
and kind of worked. Basically, he worked NWA, WCW for his whole career.
That's so bizarre. Like, I think it's cool to have people in the industry who are like untouched by the Fed, but it's also like really wild to me to see that happen, especially with someone with a storied career like Schiavone. Like, so many people, especially from like the WCW, ECW crowd, they ended up cycling through WWE at some point, but Schiavone stayed pure. Because I've been thinking about that a lot. Like, the people who tend to have allegiance to non WWE companies, and it's wild to me because fucking Hogan, like, for as much as he is seen as the WWE guy, like the golden boy of the Fed, and this guy who was made famous by this titan of like wrestling of the wrestling industry, he spent a lot of his time like non WWE working. Like he obviously
I'm pretty sure he spent more years out of the WWE than in at this point.
Which is so wild.
Like his AWA run plus his WCW run plus his TNA run is probably longer than his overall WWE run.
And fucking heading to XWF 2 and him doing shit in NJPW for a hot second. Like, my man is so associated with the brand, but he spent a lot of time out of it. And stuff like that makes me question like what his relationship to the brand like kind of looks like, because he just did not spend time in it for a long time, and it seemed like he was actually trying to go out of his way to like find non-WWE promotions and shit to work with. So like,
well, what happens when that decade that he was there is like one of the biggest booms of the whole history of wrestling?
Well, yeah, that's true, which makes it even more wild that he went literally everywhere else after that. Like, what did the Fed just think he wasn't worth anything anymore, so they let him go? And like, was he bitter about that? Like, what the fuck?
He left in '93 because he wanted to go make movies, and he's like, okay, and that failed.
That failed, basically.
Then he comes back for a nostalgia run in the 2002, 2003.
Yeah.
And then, but then that's definitely a case of like WWE's like, yeah, all right, you're getting too old there, Hulkster.
But like in between, like, how did WCW lap him up? Because that's a get.
Because that was, I forget the story of who put Bischoff in touch with Hogan, to be honest. Like, I am trying to remember off the top of my head who made that connection.
Okay.
But I cannot remember off the top of my head.
But Bischoff was basically given his contact number, and just Hogan agreed. Just it was like, yeah, why not, brother? I need the money.
Hell yeah, dude. Hollywood ain't good for the Hulkster, dude.
Hollywood ain't good for the Hulkster. Yeah, it is kind of funny that my man miserably failed in Hollywood and then made his whole gimmick that he had like sold out to Hollywood.
Hell yeah.
Even he couldn't deny how shit his movies were, so we had to lean into it for a heel persona.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway.
But Tony Schiavone, he introduces himself and he mentioned he says, like, I've worked with the greats, but I really wanted to work with this man, and that's why I'm here. And it's Jerry Lawler.
It's Jerry Lawler. Yeah, for some reason, Tony Schiavone considers it a distinct honor to broadcast alongside Jerry Lawler. Ew. And Jerry Lawler, which seems like a very scripted line for Tony. Tony Schiavone doesn't seem like he would be a Jerry the King Lawler guy. So hearing him say that is odd, but also, so Lawler comes out and he's like, he's getting a huge ovation, of course, and he and Schiavone shake hands and they sit down at the desk, and Lawler's like, I'm an animal lover. Okay.
Because his wife in the WWE was the cat. And that is who he has brought with him.
That's his wife?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
And he calls her Kitten. Because, the cat. And he wants to make sure that, he talks about how, like, wrestlers have valets. Well, here you are, Schiavone. And he's like, she's going to take care of any needs they have during the show. It's just disgusting.
It gave me not great images about her crawling under the desk, and I'll let your imagination go from there. But
that's what Jerry was thinking. I'm sure.
Fucking. This is another one for me. Okay. I know they definitely cross paths, but like, I've before made like observations about how a lot of times my Jimmy Hart impression just kind of ends up sounding like Lawler and vice versa. Like, they have kind of very interchangeable cadences and voices and demeanors, especially when Lawler's like out here getting horny. So this is my first time seeing a show where we have both of their voices.
Jimmy Hart just sounds like his horny daddy. He ain't never horny.
God, distinctly, prominently featured. It's so bizarre, and it fills me with a deep feeling of aneurysm. To just have, like, both the guys, like, imagine if you just got them together on commentary and they were just going, like, just imagine the horrible shit that would come from those two being on commentary together. I think my brain would explode.
Yeah, probably. So we cut on back to the ring where Mean Gene has gotten into the ring, and he is introducing us to the CEO of the XWF.
Okay.
Rena, who is Rena Marrow, who is Sable from the WWF.
How the fuck did Sable find herself in this position?
I do not remember why she left the WWE in the late 2001. I just know that she does, which is wild when she was like a moneymaker in the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
And she is here to, she was famously for being really hot.
Indeed.
All the fans liking how hot she was.
Yes.
And her husband, Johnny B. Bad, or Mark Marrow, as he was in the WWF.
Okay, I was gonna say, hold up,
yeah,
what?
Same guy. Mark Marrow being like, I don't like that other people find my wife hot.
Yeah, they were basically doing a new age Randy Savage and Miss Elizabeth shtick, except they were lampshading how toxic the relationship was this time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was such a fucking dumb angle.
Yeah, it worked. Got her real over, and
It did get her. It did put her majorly over because my man was like, "Don't look at the boobs," and all the fans are like, "We want to look at the boobs." The table's like, "I want you guys to look at the boobs," and the fans went, "Woo!"
And then every week it's like a Looney Tunes gag of like his newest scheme to not show the boob, and then Sable is like, "Haha! I have outwitted you. Here is boob."
Wait, when you put it that way, that actually makes it really fucking funny. Holy shit! I'm actually into that now. Fuck, fuck. That's actually funny. Damn it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anyway. So
right, she is here, and she says how the wrestling industry has been for years has been run by sleazy egomaniacs, and the rules have been made by has-beens and never-weres.
She's firing shots off the bat, but also like, how did she wind up as like CEO here, even in kayfabe? Like,
yeah, I want to know that explanation. She has no kayfabe history as like a business leader.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did she have any power behind the scenes?
No, she is the kayfabe CEO here.
What? Okay, I mean, I guess it's just kind of a wild choice to make. I'm not against it, you know, gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss, and all that, but also, huh?
Yeah, but she explains that the XWF is an even playing field. No more prima donnas and no more politics.
Man, when you said the like "no more prima donnas, no more politics" tagline earlier, I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of funny considering Hulk Hogan's the face of this. But they really leaned hard into that one in particular, and it just
lean in hard at this place, being like for the wrestlers by the wrestlers.
Yeah, but like, it's the fact that she also added in "no more politics" when again Hulk motherfucking Hogan was the face of this. Really?
Mm-hmm.
Also, okay. I want to raise a question about this, about a logical question, because so obviously curtain call has come and gone by this point in wrestling history. Vince gave
several years now.
Several years. Vince has already given the fans are tired of having their intelligence insulted promo. Like, everyone knows, everyone and their mom knows for certain that wrestling is very extremely fake. So,
and then Vince Russo went to WCW and made it even worse.
Wait, by doing what?
The kind of shit he did in WCW is insane in terms of like breaking the kayfabe rules.
Yeah. Like, okay, yeah, you have talked about this. Yeah, he would have people.
Yeah, like off the top of my head, I have like the first match. He has like Buff Bagwell lose, and then Buff Bagwell gets up and tells to the camera. He goes to the camera. He's like, "Did I do a good job, boss?" And then, of course, most infamously, the main event of a pay-per-view was Goldberg versus Kevin Nash versus Scott Steiner.
Yeah.
And the match is booked that Goldberg refuses to take Kevin Nash's finisher and lose. So he walks out of the match, and the commentators are like, he's ripping up the script. He's not doing the finish.
Yeah. You've told me about the not in the script thing anymore, and that's fucking stupid. Yeah. But like, okay. So everyone knows this at this point. So what is the like, I made the mistake, Austin, of thinking a little too hard about the "no more prima donnas, no more politics" thing. What the fuck is that supposed to mean in kayfabe? Because in kayfabe, is that doesn't always feel like I mean, I don't know. I guess you have in kayfabe people politicking over in the Fed and shit. Like, you have Stone Cold turning heel.
It doesn't happen very much. It doesn't like as much. It definitely is a line that is there for the fourth wall of like we are going back to the way wrestling should be, as opposed to like an in kayfabe sense line.
So it's just another example of like the weird double reality that we live in with wrestling today, of like simultaneously like everyone acknowledging that it's kind of bullshit, but also like that it's very real.
Yes.
So okay, that's disorienting. But yeah, no more prima donnas, no more politics. That line just keeps getting funnier and funnier, and Jerry Lawler is extremely horny this whole time.
He is. I did write down the line of his I wrote down was, I mean, he was horny every time he had a chance with Rena, but Rena was like, we got to get the best wrestlers in the world, and Lawler's like, we got the best CEO, I'll tell you that.
I wonder why he thinks, the woos, those were prominent. I have to say,
it doesn't help that like Mean Gene and the next person that comes out will also be really into being like, damn, Sable is so beautiful.
Yeah, Gene is like the least bad offender about it, but it's still, all of them are just like, guys, come on, why?
But Rena introduces our commissioner because we need a complex power structure, and also, spoilers for future episodes of the XWF, I guess, a power struggle. We got the commissioner, Rowdy Roddy Piper.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. I'll have things to say about this later on. But yeah, fucking Roddy's here. The bagpipes hit and everyone loses their shit, as they should. And he comes out and he's also,
he says a lot of the same shit Rena does, but from the perspective of like, I was a wrestler and I had to fight and scratch and claw to the top.
Yeah, he's just here to be like the real G. I did note that he is also being horny over Rena, but at least he has some chill about it. ?
He is.
We do get
the line though of I've been an underdog my whole life, and I've been under some dogs. Oh, you know it, Gene.
Oh my god. Okay, one more thing though, like I forgot to I didn't catch this earlier from my notes, but when Rena gets in the ring, like Lawler says Gene's gonna have a stroke. Like that's just from how hot she is, Lawler.
Yes, of course.
How does that even work? How do you? Whatever. I think Lawler's projecting. But yeah, so Roddy's here and he's being horny over Rena too. But yeah, he comes on to basically give like a big rah-rah first speech about how this is a place by the wrestlers for the wrestlers. Everybody gets a fair shot. No politics, no prima donnas. Again, thank you. And
yep, he hypes up Jimmy Snuka, and Greg Valentine as thank God Snuka's not on this episode, and I don't have to be weird about Snuka.
We don't have to be weird about Jimmy Snuka.
But he hypes up Snuka and Valentine for helping putting his kids through college and how they're real men.
They're real men
who fight and work hard. They don't call their mamas to make sure that the limousine is coming. Which is I think a slight at Buff Bagwell, which is ironic because Buff Bagwell's on this episode. Buff got in trouble in the WWE because like his mom tried to like politic for him, and
what?
And they're like, "What the fuck is wrong with you, man?
What the fuck?
We are not dealing with your mother. Just get out."
Buff Bagwell's mom is the inferior wrestling mom. Everybody knows the superior wrestling mom is Sue. All hail Sue.
Mm-hmm.
All hail Sue Beretta. But
I did like Roddy's line. I don't care if you're young, old, as long as you're bold.
Dude, I gotta say, great reminder here that Roddy's like actually really good on mic. Like his hype, he's got the hype. He's got just like this great patter going, this solid flow that just gets you kind of pumped up, and he is really clearly speaking with a passion for the industry. Like he clearly is like really happy to be here, and like that it feels really like legitimate coming from him. Man, God, he was so good on mic. I gotta give it up to him for that. That my man's over here like spitting fire this whole time.
And he talks about Rena. He does mention how beautiful she is, but he
Yes, he
also calls
does.
her the finally someone with brains at the top. And he's like, you handle the money and I'll deal with the slime.
Dude, that was a great line from him too. The you deal with the money, I'll deal with the slime. Like that does create a really cool like comparison between the two of them. I can't remember the word I'm actually, but like this kind of dichotomy but between the two of like one's the brains of the operation, the other's kind of like the heart of it, I suppose. It creates a cool little dynamic off the top, and you were hinting that there's going to be a power struggle coming down the line, so
Yes.
that kind of adds to it. Who wins out, the money or the slime? And then Roddy Piper, of course, declares this Independence Day.
I assume they filmed this at or around July 4th. I think that's why he brings it up.
Maybe. Fuck, what Independence Day the movie was like 99, right?
Mm-hmm.
I want to see an alternate history in which Roddy Piper 96. Okay, we're 5 years removed. But like I want to see an alternate history where fucking Roddy Piper is playing the Bill Paxton role in
my God,
Day.
President Roddy Piper in
Roddy
Independence
Piper.
Day.
That I'm telling you right now, man, that shit would be goated, okay? I'm so sad. To this day, I'm really sad that Roddy Piper's acting career just kind of flopped after They Live, because my man's got some skill and everything he does is so much fun. I love seeing him pop up in episodes of Always Sunny, like all these fucking older episodes where he shows up. And like, goddamn, dude. I think this was Roddy Piper's Bill Paxton moment. This was him giving his Independence Day speech. I don't care if it wasn't July 4th. I will happily celebrate whatever the fuck day this episode was taped on as a true Independence Day just because Roddy Piper told me to. Let's go, baby.
Yeah. So then we get a promo from Gene Simmons, and I think I don't know if it's Ace or Paul Stanley from Kiss. But he's also hyping up not just the XWF, but the Demon. And I can't believe we're talking about this outside of WCW in 2000.
There's a dude standing right behind Gene Simmons, and he's like shirtless, and he's got a dog collar on, and he's wearing like he has like the Gene Simmons pattern makeup on, and I was like, wait, hold up a second, is this like Gene Simmons like manservant? And is this Gene Simmons' manservant like uniform? And if this is Gene Simmons' manservant and it's his uniform, is he really showing him off on TV like this? What? Like, okay. Gene Simmons had I'll be honest, just casually looked like a live-in sex slave, like right behind him.
I could see that as someone who has no context for who this is.
Yeah, his own like masturbatory sex slave at that. And like he was just there, and I was just sitting there like, what is happening? What is going on here? Please elucidate. Right.
So here again, I mentioned a lot of the 2000 era WCW found its way to the XWF. Yes. One of them was the Demon Dale Torborg.
That's a name.
Who? Yeah, he was originally called the Kiss Demon, and then they're like, we're gonna put his real name in there too, and it's like, why? But
too many letters.
Okay. So in 2000, Eric Bischoff did a thing. He made a deal with Kiss to where, first of all, an episode of Nitro would end with a live Kiss concert. Yes, this was a ratings disaster because wrestling fans don't want to watch a concert on their wrestling show.
Was it a full concert or was it just like they played one song?
I mean, it was like 10 to 15 minutes of Kiss.
That's wild.
But, you know, it's like getting Kiss to promote WCW. This was the marketing strategy to save them all. And then as part of that, there would be a new wrestler introduced, the Kiss Demon, whose gimmick is he wears Kiss makeup and does the bloody tongue thing that Gene Simmons does.
That's it?
That's the gimmick, is that he's Kiss. He's a big Kiss guy.
Yeah. Nothing will
Torborg.
draw ratings more than having the main event of your wrestling show being a fucking Kiss concert, and then a dude whose whole gimmick is to just be like an insane Kiss fanboy.
And so the funniest thing about the Dale Torborg shit here is that, first of all, he was a mediocre at best wrestler.
Oh, no.
But the thing is when they did this contract for this shit, it was stipulated that the Demon had to have a specific amount of main event matches. Now, because the whole thing kind of flopped and Dale Torborg sucked, you'd think WCW was in a bit of a pickle. But oh no, they have found a solution.
Oh.
They would simply advertise his matches as a main event match and just put it wherever the fuck on the show they wanted.
And that
they just
counted?
Advertised it as a main event match.
That counted?
Of course it did.
What the fuck?
So, like, you would see, like, pay-per-views where they're like, upcoming, here's a main event match, folks. The Demon versus Ernest Miller. That's the third match on the show.
Oh yeah, baby. That's the draw I'm here for. Who the fuck is that?
Yeah, so absolute disaster.
Sounds like an absolute disaster.
So the Demon kind of hung around in WCW until it died. And then here we are again. They have once again got Kiss involved. And the Demon Dale Torborg will be on future XWF.
I'm so
happy
to hear that. But like, okay, here's a slightly off-topic question. But was the Demon Finn Balor meant to, like, was my man trying to take inspiration? Because I know Finn Balor in his like NXT run had like the Demon thing going where he'd like put on scary like
makeup. They incorporated that from his time in New Japan. He would do like as a gimmick, he would do like full body paint references to comic books and shit.
If like, he had
like an outright Venom out body paint. Yeah. And he did a Carnage body paint.
If I had a nickel for every young and up and coming, at least supposedly exciting wrestler who wore copious amounts of makeup and went by the nickname of the Demon, I would have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it is weird that it happened twice. Right, and
clearly, what we need to see is to stop the Judgment Day. We need the Demon Dale Torborg.
Oh yeah, baby. You know what? What if we just got Kiss in there? What if Judgment Day just had a match with Kiss at that point? I'm sure
that would be sick. Said people from 1982.
So we just take the Judgment Day and push them back to 1982. Yeah. So he's gonna be a thing, I guess.
But this is all he gets on this episode, so we never have to see him wrestle.
Blessedly.
Speaking of 2000s WCW, here's a match that probably happened in WCW that year. Big Vito versus Buff Bagwell.
Okay, something I want to point out before we get into the actual match. Before each match, we got like these title cards where
I feel like that was post-production for the DVD specifically.
Okay. Because that was fucking wild. Because like we didn't have any pictures of the wrestlers on these. It was like the generic background and like 2 TVs on either side of a TV each on either side of the screen. And like, okay, so it flashes the names of the 2 wrestlers, but it does this really fucking annoying thing where it flashes away from the names, and is like extreme in your face or whatever, and then goes back to the like. So it's like glitching out, but it's like, my man, I'm trying to read who the fuck this is supposed to be. Why are you having this shit like fake glitch out on me to have more of your tagline stuffed in? Stop it. I can't read.
It's in your face.
Oh, it was in my face, all right. I wanted to push it right the fuck out. Oh my god, that was so annoying.
Mm-hmm. All right,
But
so
yeah.
Big Vito's shtick is he's Italian. Gabagool.
Yeah.
He is in the mafia. You understand? Jerry Lawler's like, you got to say good things about him and put a hit on you. Thanks, Jerry.
Thanks, Jerry. Yeah, I was never heard of Big Vito before, but like he's got that Italian meme energy, so I guess I'm here for it.
And then Buff Bagwell, he is buff and he's got the stuff. He is biggity buff dude who likes flexing and kind of being a goof.
Have we seen Buff Bagwell on the show before? I don't know if we have.
I feel like we might have like once seen like his tag team, the American Males, but I don't think we've ever really seen like, I'm buff and I'm the stuff, Buff Bagwell.
He's one of those dudes whose name I've heard come up a lot, but I know Jack diddly fuck
he's
about
a well-remembered part of like, you look at WCW going into like 97, 98, 99, then like obviously the rest, he goes all the way through the rest of WCW. But when he breaks out as a singles guy, he's kind of well remembered. He also had a really good tag team with. He is canonically the reason for Big Papa Pump Scott Steiner, because
really
in kayfabe, he is the one who pulled Scott Steiner away from the tag team with his brother to be like, have you considered doing roids and flexing a lot as the gimmick, dude?
and
Scott was like, that's a great idea.
Now I see potential in you, Scott. The potential of a genetic freak who is not normal.
Yep.
Now let me teach you some basic math.
Bagwell is who to thank for the big bad booty daddy.
Damn. Well, in that case, I have to love Buff Bagwell because he gave me the greatest meme of all time in the form of Scott Steiner. Shit. So yeah. Okay, cool. He's here to Italian man and beefy Scott Steiner senpai are here.
I did notice. I checked the time on this for a 49-minute episode of XWF. It took us 15 minutes to get to the first match.
Really? I mean, I know
there are 6 matches on the show.
Yeah, I did take note of that pretty early on. Of like, man, the work here is actually kind of impressive. Too bad all these matches are like
short, and it really does. I looked at Wikipedia and like the story of the XWF, and they talk about wanting to emulate like WCW Saturday Night or WCW. I can't think of the Worldwide, like the other WCW shows that weren't Nitro, and like I see that. Because you're looking at like these shorter matches, but they are good for what they are.
Yeah, they are good for what they are. It's just like we have such good work here from like really promising and obviously also really well established talent, and it's like, fuck, I want to see more of this. Keep it going.
Yeah, maybe like we don't know like what they would have done in like a regular week to week show. So like maybe they would have had more. They probably would have just by default at some point been like, fuck it, go out there and wrestle like 10 minutes or something.
That would be sick. But unfortunately, they are a mite shorter. Also, right as Bagwell and Vito. What? Yeah.
Repeat everything you said after. You repeat sick and then onward. I lost you there.
It would just be fucking sick to like get fuller matches out of this, right? But like, okay, something that cracked me up here was, so right as Buff Bagwell and Vito started to lock up, Shivani's like, and now let's hear some comments from the Nasty Boys, and it's like, what? Okay, and then it just cuts this like tiny picture-in-picture bubble in the bottom right corner where the Nasty Boys are like, we're back, and then it cuts away, and it's like,
that was phenomenal.
What?
10 out of 10.
Why? Who? What? We're gonna get them later in the show. Why did they need to pop up here? What the fuck?
Absolutely phenomenal, I tell you.
Yeah. But I also noticed, again, knowing Jack diddly fuck about Bagwell, that Bagwell seems to be a bit of a heel / like Big Vito actually is kind of decently over.
Yes, Buff Bagwell was working heel here, brother.
Okay. Was
also,
he a heel like when WCW crumbled?
Yes.
Was that like his most recent role? Okay.
Yes. I don't know what Big Vito was doing, but Buff Bagwell was the heel. Here's the thing I tried to keep count of throughout the night. Okay. So they pipe in crowd noise on these.
Okay,
and
yeah.
There is
I
have a consistent crowd sound that they use.
Wait,
like
you noticed
5 fucking times.
You noticed? I didn't notice it till later. Oh, wait, no, that's not the one I noticed. That's not the one I noticed.
Mine was like a high-pitched one.
High-pitched, woo, woo. We'll get to the one I noticed in a little bit, because that shit cracked me up.
Yeah, but I have a running counter, and this was the second time on this. I didn't think I was going to comment on it, but then I said, fuck it. The first time happened when Rena Mero was being introduced, and then the second time I hear it is when Buff jumps up on the turnbuckle. The crowd noise during that moment is the piped in like noise.
Yeah, I was going to say, they were definitely piping in crowd noise here, because I'll get to my journey with that in a little bit.
They are sweetening that noise.
Oh my god.
Also, at some point in the match, they reuse the noise for like a Big Vito spot.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah. You can if you got the sound, you might as well like make good use of it. You know.
Mm-hmm. It's a kind of like standard TV match. It's not bad. It's nothing. Yep. I would be you gotta go check this shit out. They do start doing some cool shit at the end though, because Buff Bagwell's trying to set up for his finishing maneuver, and like Vito runs up to hit him and gets a superplex on him. And then Buff does win the match with the blockbuster, which is basically like you're on the top rope and then you like flip over your opponent on the ground and like grab him by the neck and slam him down.
Oh yeah, no. That was a solid fucking like this is the one thing that's killing me about the short matches. Like, fuck, right when it's like really getting interesting, this shit like cuts off. But yeah, that final move for me, never knowing previously who the fuck Buff Bagwell was, I appreciated like his work here, and Big V. What's this fucking name? Big Vito too. Both of them, I'm like, oh yeah, that's good work. These guys are clearly like talented, because Buff Bagwell feels like a dude for me who like just by his name could belong in the new generation and be kind of like an annoying whatever guy. But no, the solid like technical work here. Good job.
Yep. Then we have Hulk Hogan ad jumps in here, but it's just him like saying the taglines. And this is specifically the one where he goes, "No more prima donnas."
Yeah, and insert of Hulk saying "No more prima donnas." Again, Hulk Hogan just randomly popping up to be like, "Hey, I'm still here. No more prima donnas, brother." Just keeps getting funnier and funnier.
I'm glad they included what I presume would have been the TV adverts in like they would have tried to put this shit on television for like for commercial breaks.
You know what? You're right. They
like Hogan being like, "Oh, the XWF dude, no more prima donnas."
Dude,
airing this Tuesday at 8.
Oh my god, you're fucking right. That's almost certainly what that was. That's so funny they included that shit here, because it makes it look like they were just planning on having episodes where just throughout it, Hulk Hogan's dumb fucking face comes up and he's like, "Yeah, we're the XWF, brother. Woo!"
Yeah, I feel like that is what I assumed like that was the Hogan stuff was for. Was like if they had gotten on TV and they needed ads to like air on TV to promote their show, like that's the kind of stuff they would have sold to, for
fair enough. Would have been fucking eye-catching.
Mm-hmm. And then this is the first time they have the WXF logo pop up because I made a note of like, what?
Okay, yeah. I did notice, like, specifically on the shirts of the dudes here. Like, oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, some of them are wearing WXF shirts. I'm like, okie dokie.
Okay.
So this is like the only like story beat of the episode they try to do, where they have all the cruiserweights as like a collective going up to
they got a
Roddy
union,
Piper's
you know.
door. Oh yeah,
everyone talks about the wrestlers needing a union. This whole time, the cruiserweights have actually had a secret union that nobody's allowed to know about.
Truly the second union of wrestling.
The
original was a stable in the WWF called the Union of People You Ought to Respect, Son, also called Up Yours, if you make that an acronym.
As soon as you said the full name, I'm like, that's probably a dumb fucking acronym, isn't it? Yup.
It is.
Were they a heel group, perchance?
I don't even remember. It was like Mankind, Big Show, and like Ken Shamrock. It was insane.
That sounds interesting. Fucking, okay, like, actually, no. The real tea is that cruiserweights all share a hive mind, and the hive mind is just the constant stream of thoughts going, do flippy shit, do flippy shit, do flippy shit, hey, do flippy shit, do flippy shit.
That feels like how TNA looked at the X Division, which is funny because this is basically the X Division.
Yeah, the hive mind, you know.
Right. So the cruiserweights walk up to Roddy Piper's door. The main guy who talks to him, though, is the Tongan Prince, who is WCW mainstay Prince Iakea.
Okay, I don't know if
I don't think we got to him in our run, but he was basically a cruiserweight. He was just like a guy who was always in the division doing stuff. His most famous run is in late WCW, where he decided to become for the artist formerly known as Prince Iakea.
What? Why?
Get it? Oops. Get it? Because Prince did that. The artist
Prince.
Formerly known as Prince. So he's the artist formerly known as Prince Iakea.
I get it. Amazing.
So now to avoid any sort of legal issues, he is the Tongan Prince. And
sure.
he's just like, hey, Roddy, we just wanted to come and ask like you were serious about giving everybody a chance. And Roddy was like, when I had to come up, I had to beat everyone one by one. But you guys, some of the most talented wrestlers I've ever seen. And you know what? You guys, instead of having to grind like I did, we're just going to get everyone in the ring tonight in a gauntlet match. And the winner's going to be a cruiserweight champion.
Yeah, which, like, seems like a fair enough idea, but, like, a couple of the people, Tongan Prince especially, look like somewhat dissatisfied or perturbed by this decision.
That's so many men to beat, though.
Is that, like,
with
the power struggle?
A boomer who wants to make it easier on the younger generation instead of having it be exactly like it was for them.
Yeah, that's fucking based. That's fucking based. Except, like, with the way some of the cruisers were reacting, it felt like we were supposed to think this was stupid. Like, when we do this whole power struggle with Rena, is Roddy Piper the heel of it?
No, he's the babyface.
Rena's the heel? Really?
Yes.
Why? What?
I don't know. I just know that's the dynamic. That's the dynamic there.
That was just a weird way to play it then. Because Tongan Prince was like prominently like looking like, what? No. Kind of like this kind of like, what the fuck look on his face. And I'm like, wait, so are we supposed to not agree with this? What?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Weird.
Bad direction.
Bad fucking direction.
Whoever did that skit.
That's for true.
All right, so we cut back to commentary, and Tony Schiavone tries to like hype up this like interview with Carlos Colon that Mean Gene has, but we never see it or anything. I don't know what the fuk that was about.
Oh yeah.
But the important part, I wrote it down because this is when Kitten is massaging Jerry Lawler's shoulders, and he's like talking about, "Oh yeah, I'm getting a massage." I'm like, "Fuck off, Lawler."
And Schiavone's like, "Lawler, Hey, Lawler, pay attention. Lawler, pay attention.
I'm trying to do a
please.
job here.
Trying to do a thing here. Lawler, please pay attention. Lawler.
All right. Here for the finest in wrestling's past, we get match number 2 with Marty Jannetty.
Marty Jannetty's here. Okay. They're hyping up how Marty Jannetty is, of course, known for his great success in both tag team and singles work, which okay.
Tag team, sure.
Tag team, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Singles, he beat Shawn for the IC title once, and then Shawn won it back like in 2 days. So
yeah, we had a clear golden boy here, and Marty Jannetty was not it, and then he famously kind of like disappeared after that.
He did too many drugs and then never showed up again.
Nah, but we got to put him over, so don't think about it too hard.
Yeah, because you see coming out is Jimmy Hart's newest pet project. This is apparently a guy from WCW Developmental that Jimmy was super invested in. This is why he's with him. Hale,
who's like a big...
You got Jimmy Hart with him, daddy?
He's a big dude. And I mean...
I wrote Hale is big dude McMuscles.
He is big dude with McMuscles, who vaguely looks like Stone Cold to me from a distance because he's like bald and got the mustache.
I could see it. But the match is a few, like, Marty tries to do some basic grappling and he just gets no-sold on.
Yeah! Fucking Marty, famous for his success in singles competition, shockingly is getting completely fucking squashed here.
Hilarious.
That's so... The irony, I can taste it.
And then Hale hits a backbreaker and then a shoulder breaker, and then he does a leg drop and he wins the match. That's it.
Okay, so something I noticed in this match, and I'm going to say this, and I'm going to hate saying it, and it's something I never thought I would. Jerry Lawler's commentary is not completely unbearable here. Like, it's not really all that unbearable. He and Shivani are, like, just doing straightforward, like, technical calling of the match. And it's so weird to hear. I never hear Jerry Lawler do that. Lawler is there to say stupid jokes and get horny over hot women. That's his whole thing. So
do we have to consider the horrifying implication that the reason for Jerry Lawler's dumb, horny character was Vince was directing him to do that?
Yeah, well, but he still has echoes of it here. He's still extremely dumb and horny. But, like, when he's calling the matches, he's actually calling the match. And it's, like, nice to listen to. It's refreshing. Like, look, I hate Jerry Lawler, both from a character perspective and in real life, that pedophile simp for Vince. However, it's kind of refreshing to hear him just straightforward call matches here. Is this place a good influence on him? Is Shivani a good influence on him? What is happening? I don't know.
Could be because Shivani no-sells all his stupid bullshit.
Yeah. Jerry's like, come on, man, I'm trying to do bits here.
And Shivani's like, oh no, I had to survive too many bits in WCW. No, we are doing real commentary.
The best part is I can actually hear Shivani doing that because Shivani is such a fucking grumbly grump about everything. He's such a delightful little curmudgeon that I can literally see, like, Jerry Lawler is like talking up all the jokes he's gonna make, and Shivani's like, no, oh, no, you don't, Jerry, you don't understand how this works. We're gonna actually call matches, and Jerry's like, the fuck, what is this concept you're bringing to me?
What do you mean?
What do you mean? That's not what commentary's for. Fuck.
Yep.
It could have actually been Shivani being a good influence on him. More reason for me to love Tony Schiavone, and I'm so uncomfortable with the fact that I was actually like kind of happy with what Jerry Lawler was doing on the mic. I don't like it. I feel dirty.
So after the match, I noted a sign that says "Hale destroys Goldberg" sign.
Yeah, okay. So was Hale? Did Hale make it out of WCW developmental?
I don't think so.
Did he have a following?
I think those were plant signs.
Yeah, they probably were. But like, it was just one of those things of like, I was going, who the fuck is Hale? But I'm the noob, so I don't always have a great barometer of like when my what the fuck, who is this person reaction is also the audience's what the fuck, who is this person reaction. Oh boy, at least the plants weren't as obvious as fucking Wrestlicious. At least there's that.
Yeah, so we get a cut in for Maximum Force, whoever the fuck that is.
Okay, I also was like, who the fuck is Maximum Force?
I don't know.
I'm with 2 for 2,
Dawn
baby.
Marie, they have arrived. They are in your face.
I'm so excited for them to be directly in my face.
And then match 3, the newest and worst addition to the Hulk Hogan Super Friends Wrestling Network, Horace Hogan, his nephew.
Yeah, fucking Hulk. It's funny though, because they like cut away from the ring from the Hale and Marty Jannetty match, and then they cut back to the ring, and I thought that was still Hale because they're both like these tall, like bald dudes with mustaches and black pants. So I thought it was just still Hale, and then they're like Horace Hogan, and who? What?
Another feature of late WCW. He got the job. That was a straight nepotism hire.
I was going to say,
from WCW.
No primadonnas, no politics. Now come watch Hulk Hogan's nephew in the ring.
Horace
Hogan. Okay, dude. I'm sure he'll turn out just like his uncle.
And then he is facing Ian Harrison. And if you don't know what nationality Ian Harrison is, his theme is dun 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 dun.
Yeah, just in case you were confused, and just to make like extra special sure that you won't be confused, my man's like whole costume is just Britain. It's just the British flag. It's just the Union Jack. My man's whole everything that he wears is just the Union Jack. So they will not let you forget that this man is from Britbongerland. So thank you for that. And he is also fucking massive.
He is a big dude, Mick Muscles. We have found yet another bodybuilder for Hulk Hogan to squash eventually.
Wait, that's what this is building to?
That far. I was just making an assumption based on Hulk Hogan's entire career.
Is that a running theme of Hulk Hogan's career?
Especially in the WWF? Yes. Build up big guy for Hulk Hogan to eventually beat.
Wait.
Them's the formula.
Who from the Hulk Hogan's Rogues Gallery fits this? Is like is
Bundy, Andre, Haku, Tugboat,
what?
Hennig.
Really? They're all ex-bodybuilders?
Oh no, I just meant big dudes.
Oh, I thought we were talking about like dudes who were actively previously bodybuilders. Okay.
No. I'm talking about dudes who were just large and muscly, and they're like, eventually Hulk Hogan's gonna beat him.
I see. So we're setting up Hulk Hogan revenging his nephew one day. Okay, sure.
For sure. I guarantee if this went long enough, he would have dropped the big leg on Ian Harrison for the 1, 2, 3.
Harrison would have felt the
power of
the leg and the Hulk
Hulkamania.
up in the 1, 2. Yeah, he would have been you.
Yeah. So Lawler makes it his mission for you people to understand that Ian Harrison is a fucking ugly.
He's really going hard on the Ian Harrison is fucking ugly train.
His
Which,
best
Lawler,
line
have you
was
looked in a mirror?
when he first came out, his best line was, when he was a kid, his family didn't buy a jack-o'-lantern, they just put his face in the window.
Yeah, that was the first. I wrote down wow, it's kind of nice to hear, like, kind of straightforward commentary from Jerry the fucking King Lawler. And then he says some shit like that. I'm like, there's the annoying dipshit that I know and hate.
Yeah, the difference is Shivani doesn't play into it at all. JR
Oh,
would have
Shivani
JR would have commented about that, about him saying stuff like that.
Come on now, King. He doesn't look that bad. No,
Shivani just completely ignores it.
Stone face. My fucking king. I love Tony Schiavone, dude. Holy shit. I know he was like a jackass in his early career, but goddamn do I love that man.
USA Chance coming in hot in this first match. And I gotta say though, this might be one of the better uses of the USA Chance, because who better to exemplify the American dream than Horace Hogan, an extremely mediocre guy who has a famous better relative who got him a job.
Fucking true. Hulk Hogan truly did help exemplify the American dream, just not in the way that he purported to. Nepotism. Although I will say, nepotistic as this shit is, fucking Ian whatever, just also Ian Henderson just kind of like bowls through poor Horace Hogan.
Yeah, we got a squash match to do, brother. We got a big monster.
This is squash Rooney number 2. Like, Horace does his best, but Ian Henderson is here to take the dub ultimately, and you gotta tell that.
And here to do big weird flexes.
Oh well, yeah, he got to show off them muscles, baby. But
he does a weird one where he like flexes his chest and arms inward, and then makes a weird face like. Bleh.
Yeah. Okay. Are you familiar with him? Because it seemed like you knew that pop.
I have seen a clips of XWF of this guy before.
Okay.
So I knew I was prepared for the weird bodybuilder flex, dude.
Does Ian Henderson have much prominence outside of XWF?
Not in America. I mean, they talked about how he wrestled in Britain, so maybe he has more of a career there. But in America, no. This is it.
Woof. Yeah, no. But yeah, fucking Hulk Hogan apparently backstage was telling his nephew that is gonna work for you, brother, because his nephew, you know, he tried, but he was there to put big beefy boy Ian Henderson very much over.
And okay, we gotta talk about the finish here, especially the way I wrote what this move was. Okay. So what Harrison does is he wraps his legs around Horace's head and then like falls backwards to like slam his head into the mat, and then just squeezes as a submission move. And Horace taps out.
Yeah.
I wrote Ian Harrison wins with a mommy Amazon thigh squeeze.
Fucking where's the lie? I mean, folks, where's the lie? My man was like, he knows he's got them thunder thighs, and he's gonna put them to good fucking use.
This is what I presume Death by Snoo Snoo looks like.
Going to hell is actually Death by Snoo Snoo, but it's being executed by Ian fucking Henderson.
Yeah.
Heaven is Death by Snoo Snoo. Hell is also Death by Snoo Snoo, but this time just done by Ian Henderson.
Oh no.
Oh yeah. Look, I can't blame him though. If you got thighs like that and you don't try to crush things between them, what are you even doing? Like, I think it's like in the law that if you have thighs like that, you just have to like use them to crush it. So Ian Henderson's fulfilling his duty. I get it, but also, whoo baby.
I do appreciate a big muscly dude not having just like some power move as a finisher.
Oh yeah, no. again, the work here is pretty all right. Like, it's not like the standout of the show by any means, but they clearly got people who have, I would say, a dynamic talent. These aren't dudes who just do like one thing and then leave. For the most part, I'd say. Like,
yeah.
They got some semblance of a more dynamic moveset, which I appreciate.
In the future Hulk Hogan versus Ian Harrison match, a backstage look at what the politicking would have been. All right, Hogan, you're gonna take Ian Harrison's finish. No way, dude. I don't want to die by snoo, brother. I don't want a mommy to step on me, dude.
I gotta set an example for all the little Hulkamaniacs out there. All right, death by snoo is not cool, brother. I say your prayers, eat your vitamins, don't die by snoo. That's the Hulk Hogan way.
That's the newest tenet of the Hulk.
That's the newest. That's the new. I am a prophet, and I have had revealed to me the newest commandment.
This is the Book of Mormon of the Hulk Hogan commandments. Don't die. No death by snoo.
We need to evolve this bit to a point where, like, fucking, we need to evolve it to a point where you and I can develop legitimately a whole, like, Hulk Hogan cult religion that we can, like, make shit for. Like, the cult of Hogan, what do their, like, traditional religious robes look like? What is the suicide ritual that brings you to Hulkamania in heaven? And why is it not death by snoo?
As death by snoo sends you straight to hell, brother. like smoking marijuana, dude. Yeah. You just go straight to hell.
You have Lou Albano here as like a disciple, and he's going, if you do death by snoo, you'll go to hell before you die.
Yep, that makes sense to me.
Oh my god. Keep going.
I have gotten David yet again.
I love how our best bits on this show are just coming up with these, like, insanely stupid and deeply ridiculous hypotheticals that we just take way too far.
Oh yeah, Daddy, no death by snoo, Daddy. That's a bad. That's why I don't manage Ian Harrison. I manage hell, brother. He don't do no death by snoo, Daddy.
The fucking Jimmy Hart megaphone is like the official relic to use to preach from the pulpit. Actually, like that is a holy relic now of the word of God. And by God, of course, we mean Hulk Hogan.
And on the 22nd day of January 1983, Daddy, the Holy Hulk Hogan defeated the Iron Sheik to become the WWF champion for the first time, Daddy-o.
The holy number, of course, of the Hulk religion is the number 22. Both for the 22nd of January, on which Hulk Hogan was brought to the Iron Sheik or whatever, and also the 22-inch python. Man, the number 22, it keeps coming up. That is a holy number of the Hulk Hogan religion. Fuck, we gotta write this shit down. We gotta, Austin. We could become the prophets. Austin, do you see?
We become the prophets of the great church of Hulkamania.
Yeah, fuck, man. I was so off in the beginning because, like, with the whole vanity project bit, but, like, fuck whatever I was planning on doing. Clearly, our true calling is making the cult of Hulkamania a real thing.
We were merely oracles when we called it a death cult. That was just the prophets of this podcast.
Man, there's an alternate timeline where Hulk Hogan did Jonestown.
Well, listen, dude, you just gotta drink the Flavor Aid, brother. Well, let me tell you something, Mean Gene. The Flavor Aid is looking real good right now, dude.
Fuck me. Oh my fucking god. Oh my god. Okay.
And somehow Hulk Hogan was not on this episode without these stupid adverts, and he's not even related to this match. I was just talking about Hogan.
Well, he is related because this
eventually
is
job
his
out
fucking
Ian Harrison.
nephew. He's related by blood to this match. Excuse you.
I suppose.
Yeah. So anyway, so giant British boy Ian Harrison is here to just murder Horace Hogan by Snoo. And Lawler insists that Ian Anderson is very ugly. Hulk Hogan is very proud of his nephew for taking the jobbing like a chump. And the nephew said, when dear Uncle Hulk will I be able to be able to win all the matches like you?
You'll know the time when the time is coming.
You'll know when the time is coming. And then Hulk Hogan looks at his watch, and the watch just on each tick has not Horace's time, not Horace's time, not Horace's time, not Horace's time.
Check the watch, dude, and it just says never.
That would be that. I could legitimately see Hulk Hogan doing that. Anyway, yeah, okay. Another random insert. Johnny be
bad.
I don't be bad.
Right, we have more experience with him as Mark Marrow in the WWE.
It's such a stupid fucking name.
In WCW, Johnny Be Bad was like, what if I was like a Little Richard cosplayer? And they're like, okay. And they're like, and here's Johnny Be Bad.
Okay, I guess. Because he's not Johnny Be Good.
Yeah. That was the joke, yes. But he is Johnny Be Bad, and he is back.
He's back.
Woo-hoo.
And he's bad. Hooray.
And we cut on back to Brian Knobbs and Jimmy Hart being like, wow, look how great. Look at all the great parts of the XWF there were. Wasn't it sick?
Honestly, I was like, wait, is the episode already done? Hold up.
No, this is the midway point.
Yeah, they're here to jack off the company more, which, you know what, fair enough.
Is fair enough, but also very funny for a company that's been effectively dead for 4 years.
Dude, the fucking like little duo bits here are so funny because like they sound so proud of this little engine. They're
out here doing some real like I could have been a contender. Shit.
I could have been a contender. That's literally it's literally like the shtick they got going on. They're so reverent toward it. It's like, is this like a bit to put it over, or do you like legitimately feel this way? And if so, you poor boys, do you need hugs?
Mm-hmm. But another insert of a man who is here in the XWF, Norman Smiley. He is here to get wiggy and jiggy.
Yeah, I didn't even catch this motherfucker's name. He's just like...
Yeah, all right. So Norman Smiley was a cruiserweight wrestler in WCW. Fantastic wrestler, kind of underrated if you look at the all-time cruiserweights. But he got super over because he started shaking that ass. He becoming a man who became obsessed with during matches doing the wiggle.
The wiggle? What? I mean,
like,
I guess.
All this man wanted to do was hit the wiggle.
I mean, guess. Fucking Too Cold Scorpio did that, like, dancing in ring shit, and it was actually, like, super cool. So it can be done, but also, like, I don't often see people, like, do in-ring dances and make it really feel cool. There's like
we'll have to watch late WCW Norman Smiley so you can get a good sense of the wiggle.
The wiggle. I'm sure it's a banger.
Mm-hmm. And then we get the match for the Cruiserweight Battle Royal, which I wrote my first note. No entrances, so who the fuck knows who all is in this match and who's doing what?
Oof. Yeah, that was the best part. Was like they just they just showed up there. And Shivani, like I said earlier, was literally like, yeah, we're just going to try to introduce everybody to you as well as we can.
I think I have the 8 people in the match.
I have some of them.
I think we had AJ Styles.
Yes, we had AJ Styles.
Daniels.
Yeah,
baby,
CD.
Baby AJ and Baby CD.
Baby AJ, Baby CD. I love both of them.
We have future Mexicools, Juventud Guerrera, excuse me,
Guerrero,
and
I was gonna say. Yeah, we got 2 whole Mexicools here.
Where was Super Crazy?
I don't know. Probably off being super crazy somewhere.
We got Kid Cash, another WCW guy. The Tongan Prince. We had Quick Kick, who is the future Low Key.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, he's basically an indie legend and big Ring of Honor guy. He kind of flopped out of WWF and Impact and wrestling in general, because I'll put it like, he's basically a headache to work with. He's very much the kind of guy who's like, I know kickboxing for real, so like I should never job because that would be unrealistic, dude.
Okay.
He was that kind of guy, and so like he's burned every goddamn bridge he's ever made in wrestling, so he doesn't really like do anything now, which sucks because like if he hadn't have such a shitty ass personality, because he's really good.
Everyone in this match was like showing off, and they were all doing cool shit. I can't deny it.
And then some dude named like Billy Five Punch or something. He gets eliminated first, and then I don't think commentary ever like says his name really loudly.
They don't. They're just like, oh, he's here and he's gone, and he's gone.
But clearly the most interesting thing about this match was, of course, we're cutting to crowd shots, and who could be in the crowd? But of course, the runner-up for MTV's Tough Enough, Josh Matthews.
Yeah, okay. Why is his name familiar to me?
He is the little twink backstage interviewer in like 2011.
Oh shit, that guy.
Yeah. He used to be a wrestler, and he was on Tough Enough, and he was the runner-up.
Okay, yeah, because they called him they said the runner-up of of MTV's Tough Enough, which is such a great little line to say when you can't talk about the Fed directly.
Yeah, these guys. Yeah, they were hyping this up like he was the biggest fucking signing in the history of the company. We got Josh Matthews. They
really saw something in that guy. Whoever the fuck was really booking this was like, man, that dude from Tough Enough really impressed me.
Yep. So they kind of throw out half the match all in quick succession of dudes. Some of it was one was really sick was when AJ got eliminated and he got back body dropped over the ring and went flying and landed on 2 other guys who were already on the outside.
That fucking ruled.
So the final 4 is Quick Kick, Kid Cash, Prince, Tongan Prince, and Christopher Daniels. Was the final 4.
That Quick Kick's the last one. Okay, so.
Yeah, that's how I knew it was quick, because this is when I started taking actual notes of what was happening, because we've slowed down a bit here. Quick Kick doing like the Daniel Bryan yes kicks to Kid Cash and kicking the shit out of him.
Mm-hmm. And that's fair, because what got me was he and CD were both like in red, and they're both like these lanky dudes, and like. They both looked bald, although when I got a closer look at CD, my man's got like hair, real hair. Like it's
got a little bit of blonde hair going.
It is like toe blonde hair. However, like so it still looks bald from a distance, but like goddamn, my man is working that fucking hair. Jesus. But
totally.
Yeah, that was so wild to see. CD with with hair. But yeah, so I kept getting him mixed up with Quick Kick, which is funny. But
yeah. So okay, there was a sick move where Kid Cash and Quick Kick were on the opposite turnbuckles, and they were going to go in for like a simultaneous move to hit Christopher Daniels and Tongan Prince, and Prince and CD moved out of the way, so Kid Cash and Quick Kick collided with each other in the middle of the ring.
They were doing these cool like group spots where like none of them were really like tag team working together, but they had tiny little moments of cooperation to like fuck over someone else. Always a fun spot to see. Also, okay, this is where I gotta bring up the piped in crowd sound shit, because this was a little earlier in the match, but they had this spot where someone got knocked into a ring post. They had a camera like right there as it did, and as someone got knocked directly into the ring post, I forget who, and I heard a crowd sound that was like, and it's like that sounded to me like, I'm not doing it justice, but there's like the crowd reaction, like stock sound of a crowd going like, "Whoa!" Like you know that sound where it's like a whole crowd is going like, "Whoa!" Like that. You know that sound. I heard that. I caught that. I'm like, that there's no way that's legit, right? Like that is a piped in crowd sound.
They were piping in crowd noise for this.
And later on, I heard that later this match, I heard that fucking stock sound again. They're just using stock sounds to pipe into the crowd. What the hell? So goofy.
Incredible. Okay, so Cash throws out Quick Kick and the Tongan Prince. Final two, CD and Kid Cash. CD, for some reason, climbs the top rope, facing away from the ring, and thus Kid Cash. And so Kid Cash just kind of bumps him off the top rope and wins.
I know. That was like such a fucking lame way to end it, because so much shit was happening. And then CD was just climbing to the top, and Kid Cash went, nope, and just duded him. Like, it was a cool moment for like work smart, not hard, but also like CD was setting up for something, and the guy just like,
fuck you.
Fuck you. Jesus. Okay,
so Kid Cash is the inaugural cruiserweight champion of the XWF.
Holy shit, buddy. That's exciting.
And then this is when I wrote pipe in sound number 4, as they pipe in that same like high-pitched cheer when Kid Cash wins.
Yeah, good on you for catching that, because I just noticed the one that like gets used everywhere for everything.
Yep. Okay, so then Kid Cash goes over and shakes hands with Josh Matthews and like pulls him out of the crowd to take him backstage.
Yeah, he's like,
the boys.
I'm taking you backstage to meet the boys. So again, they were really excited about having Josh Matthews here.
Oh yeah, then we get an advert.
Great for everyone involved.
Yeah, so honestly, like, really fun match, and like, definitely they would have we want to talk about the what if here. Like the XWF clearly would have done basically what TNA did with the X division. They get all these like young, athletic, high flying dudes and send them out there to go do cool shit.
Oh my god!
This was the battle royal version of a fuckity do Spot Fest Reno.
Oh yeah, like you get all the cruisers in there at the same time. You're just gonna get boys flipping everywhere. How can you not love that?
Mm-hmm. And I think it would have been as immensely successful for them as the X division was for TNA.
I would say so. I would say I would say that this would have been a highlight of their entire programming, because like the guys they got here are exciting talent. Like
this is absolutely this pool of like indie guys who like WWE just didn't fucking want, because this didn't fit what they wanted as a wrestling product.
They are not WWE people, at least as of like the early 2000s. I mean, obviously some of them did show up in the company later. You got fucking Psychosis and Juventud joining in for the
but they were,
they were turned into absolute clowns as the Mexicools, though. The only one,
in the 2000s, we talked about it. They were a lot more hesitant to hire these kind of indie-rific dudes. They would obviously change their mind on that both in the short term and the long term. You look at, we talk about the Mexicools, and then AJ Styles will get there.
Yeah, AJ Styles is the major success story here, because like Mexicools, like it's cool to have kind of legendary dudes like Psychosis and Juventud in the Fed. But the problem is that the Fed turned them into clowns. Like, they were good, but they weren't allowed to be their whole selves in ring. At least it seems to me from what I've seen of them so far. Like, yeah. So AJ Styles is the one big success story here. And yeah, I mean, it is just the TNA X Division 1.0 essentially. But it's cool to see what's effectively a precursor to that, and I have to wonder if what what WXF was doing here, XFW, fucking whatever. Jeez, now it's got me confused. If what like XFW was doing here, XWF, fuck me.
XFW is a completely different thing. They might have named their company at some point.
If what XWF, Jesus, I'm gonna try that one more time. If what XWF was doing here was like that good, I wonder if some of the guys that ended up going from here to like TNA helped influence the idea of the X Division based on what they were doing with the XWF for a hot second.
Maybe. It's again, we are seeing a lot. Also, it's a lot of these pool of guys that do it, like the Ring of Honor and TNA feast for years because WWE was just like they're not developmental projects by us, so we don't want them. And they're like, okay, I guess we'll just be super successful indie companies with these guys,
with these insane. And then like 10 years later, Vince took a gander over. He's like, hey, wait a second, what's going on over there?
Holy shit! Wait a minute. Triple H was like, "Hey guys,
I just had the most brilliant idea.
Triple H was like, guys, what if we hired all the indie guys?
What if Triple H was like, hey Dad, can we hire indie guys yet? No. Hey Dad, can we hire indie guys yet? No. Hey Dad, can we hire indie guys yet? No. Wait. How much money are Impact and ROH making? Well, shit.
Fine. You can hire the fucking indie guys, but only to NXT.
Only to NXT. And then AJ Styles made it on the main roster and got super over, and Vince was like, God damn it!
Damn it, prove wrong again. Except the thing Vince would never say.
Yeah. My idea. Am I out of touch? No, it is the children who.
Of course, the indie guys. I was telling you, Hunter, we gotta hire more of them.
I was just saying, indie, we love the indie guys. My idiot son-in-law here never told me about these indie guys, but I told you about. Shut up, idiot son-in-law.
Shut up. All right, back to the XWF. We get an advert with Alice Cooper being like, "Yeah, this is the XWF in your face. Welcome to my nightmare." How do you get it?
I keep forgetting fucking Cooper's
Alice Cooper thing.
Yeah. So Alice Cooper's here, which is cool. I love me some Coops. Love me some Coops. So that one is actually cool to see. But also, like, how the fuck did they pull Alice Cooper?
Friends and shit. Sure.
I just want to know who on the roster had contact with them. Who is Alice Cooper buddies with that he did this?
I feel like if it'd be anyone, it'd be Hogan or Jimmy.
Oh, no. Those are the dumbest answers to that question. No.
Oh, yeah, Alice Cooper, Daddy. Why don't you go and do the XWF there? Just say, welcome to my nightmare. Do you get it? It's like the reference to your song.
I have to imagine like a meeting between Hogan and Alice Cooper's got to be like one of the most bizarre interactions between two humans in the world.
Possibly.
Absolutely.
We get another Hogan advert. Speaking of, we're just like, in your face.
Yep. Hi again, Hogan. Why do you keep showing up?
And then we get this group of like 3 women who are like, we're the XWF in your face. They are X Girls Inc. I don't know what that means. They're probably Nitro Girls, but XWF. but I otherwise have no context for this.
They've got to be the Nitro Girls, right? Like, this has to be the Nitro Girls. Fucking okay.
I would think.
Hold up. Oh, they had a whole thing. Wait, what? Jesus, there were a lot of Nitro Girls.
There were a shitload of Nitro Girls. As a matter of fact,
I don't know how to remotely. Wait, Stacy Keibler was a Nitro Girl?
Yeah, pretty sure any
Charmel
woman
was a Nitro Girl?
Yeah, that checks out.
What? Wait, hold on. I just thought the Nitro Girls were just random chicks that they hired in different cities to dance for them. I didn't realize they were like...
Now, this was a dedicated troupe.
What the fuck? What? Stacy Keibler, Charmel, the rest, a lot of these other names I don't recognize, but that's still two that's like, holy shit. What? Okay, wow. Yeah, some of these have to be Nitro Girls, right? Like, there's without a doubt a couple Nitro Girls.
Mm-hmm. So match number 5, and this is where I noted the extremely different apron and ring appearance. Other matches on this show of the Nasty Boys versus the Shane Twins. And no, I don't know who they are. But I wrote big WXF logo on the apron. The fuck. Also a third different logo on the ring.
Oh, no. I didn't notice that. What? All right, give it to me. Who is the who do we have? Like what's the what's the design breakdown on these? What is your critical analysis of like all these different designs for logos they were trying to go with? Do we got a winner? Do we got clear losers? What's going on here? Because I did not catch this.
I can't have an opinion on the third one. I would barely see it, but I could just tell it's different. Okay. It's like thinner than the reg, and it's all black. Okay. Different from the XWF logo. Okay. The WXF logo, I could almost get behind that aesthetically, and I get the joke. The X is in your face, but you can't put the X in the fucking middle because that's not how you read. So fuck that.
You can't put the X in the middle because that's not how you fucking read. Austin Leach 2022. What a quote.
Of course. Great quote. And then, so I guess the winner here is the logo they have, but also the logo they have I'm kind of whatever about.
Yeah. That's I mean, it's lame and generic shit. All of the two logos I've seen are both really, really boring. Like really boring.
I immediately did note to complain about the Nasty Boys doing the pit stop, which we don't talk about Nasty Boys matches on here enough, thank God. But the pit stop is the move where they take their opponent and shove them into their dirty, smelly armpits.
Oh, yeah.
Because they're nasty.
Yeah, okay. See, it's funny, though, because, they're the Nasty Boys, and that's their whole thing is that they're nasty. But, they don't come out looking like they're supposed to be dirty in any way. They come out looking like fucking, we have Neo at home. We have the Matrix at home. They're wearing these, big fucking black dusters. And one of them is wearing, this pair of glasses that I swear to God, one of the goddamn kids from Spy Kids 3D wears for a majority of the movie. They're trying to go for, some, neo-punk shit.
Which sounds about right, because, you look at their attire in, 1990, when they were in their, peak form, I guess. They're basically doing, they were very much doing, what does punk look like to a geriatric boomer,
dude?
They looked like Mad Max rejects, and
that's the fucking Road Warriors job,
or a bad live action version of those two villains in TMNT.
What? Bebop and Rocksteady?
That's it. They look like shitty Bebop and Rocksteady.
But that's the
so
LOD's job.
That's their job, is to look like slightly better Mad Max Ruthless.
Slightly. Let's be clear.
So the Nasty Boys just look like shit always. But that's to the extent of their nastiness, is to look vaguely like what you think, like what to old people Punk looks like.
And I guess,
and
I
that
guess
checks
to
out
old people,
to them.
like punk people also don't shower to old people, I guess.
Sure. But it's like that's their look, and they've updated it to do some Neo Matrix shit. And then like one of their signature moves is sticking people in their armpits.
Delightful.
Nasty.
I will say Jerry Lawler is here to keep putting over the like these dirty punk people don't shower thing, because he goes, these guys haven't been together for 4 years and they haven't showered in 4 years either, which to me sounds like Lawler is implying that they not only shower together but they refuse to shower when apart. And I mean, okay,
I'm willing to take that reading.
I'm willing to take that reading. I mean, tag teams who shampoo together. But what then fucks me up is that Lawler then proceeds to call them two twin brothers from different mothers.
Now he was talking about the Shane twins when he said that.
I thought the Shane twins were real twins.
I don't know enough about them to comment on that, but I think he was talking about the Shane twins.
Oh, I thought that too, but like I thought he referred to the Nasty Boys by name, by each of their names, and then said like the two twin brothers from another mother's thing. I thought it was a juxtaposition to the Shane twins. Whatever. Either way, apparently they like to take showers. He might have been.
The Shane twins, they're these guys. They are most famous for their short run in TNA.
Oh.
As the Johnsons.
They
dressed up.
No.
Now, to be fair, the full gimmick was that their manager was some nerd they beat up in high school, and it was the literal nerd power fantasy of like, someday I'll be your boss.
Of like, be careful who you call ugly in high school.
Literal. So their boss, who was the nerd they bullied in high school, now is their manager, and is being a vindictive dick. He makes them dress up like penises and calls them the Johnsons. This is like first few shows of TNA early.
Yep. I remember the Deadlock episode about it.
Yep. So that is these clowns.
That's these guys. That's
before they became dicks. They were the Shane twins of XWF.
Oh my god. Oh my fucking god. That is amazing. I love it. Shit. Yeah, but right now they're just some dudes. And
even crazier, one of them, I wrote a Shane twin, hits a lariat on Brian Knobbs and wins.
Yeah, I was like, oh, jobber. I was so ready, Austin. I was so ready to call some hypocritical bullshit on the no politics, no primadonnas thing, only to have like the two best friends of Hulk Hogan win their fucking debut match in XWF like that. But no, they fucking lost to the who the fuck are these guys, Shane twins. So credit where credit is due. They were being kind of serious about that no politics thing, at least to an extent.
Mm-hmm. And then, so the Nasty Boys are sore losers and try to beat up the Shane twins, but out come the Road Warriors to run them off.
Of course, Road Warriors got to be here.
Yep. And then we get, I was hoping, I know this segment is longer than this, so I was hoping there would be more. It was the full bit. But we get Willie Nelson being interviewed by Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Yeah, what the fuck?
We couldn't just get Willie Nelson to just be like, yeah, XWF. No. We got to have Jim Duggan here to conduct an interview.
My man had to speak his whole ass mind about it.
It was very short, and I was sad because I thought it was like the full bit from that I've seen from that interview bit with Willie Nelson. But that's fine. Clearly, they were saving that for another episode. Then we get a Vampiro promo that is mostly him kind of just extolling the virtues of XWF, but in being like, I'm gonna get my chance now, and you're all gonna die.
Yeah. Okay, so this I found funny because Vampiro is here, which is sick. And he's basically talking about how he and a bunch of his compatriots got fucked over by like politics in the industry and they were forced underground. But which like
Forced
okay,
Lucha underground.
But like okay. Again, I'm a noob and I don't know all the context, but speaking of Deadlock, I've heard them mentioned multiple times in their like observer notes section about little bits of history that indicate that at least in his earlier like prime days, Vampiro was kind of a pain in the ass to work with.
Oh, that's just Mexico though. In Mexico, you got to fight tooth and nail for anyone to put over anybody. That's just how that goes.
That's fair. I just know Vampiro's had a reputation for walking out of shows, at least for a little bit. I don't know.
Again, everyone does that in Mexico at least once. Everyone at least once is like, you're dropping the title tonight. Fuck you.
Fuck you.
No, I'm not. I'm leaving right now.
That's the epitome of that's not gonna work for me, brother. Okay, so then I withdraw that a little bit because like okay, I guess it's just a fucking cutthroat. It's a cutthroat world in Mexico wrestling. Goddamn. Okay, but yeah. So Vamp is here, which is sick. And he looks like young Vamp looks cool. And then, Jesus Christ, you weren't wrong about the big names. Fucking Bobby Heenan shows up.
Yep, the Bobby the Brain is here. And Bobby gets in the ring and he wants to explain that he is no longer a manager. He is an agent.
Okay.
For the man who made Minnesota famous, Kurt Hennig.
Yeah, okay.
We cannot legally call Mr. Perfect, but you know, it's Mr. Perfect.
We can't?
Because that's WWE.
Oh, no. Okay, so two things. One, much more benign than the other. First of all, gotta say, Heenan's got fucking drip. My man's got, like, a white, like, this fancy-ass white suit coat with tails.
Absolutely styling.
Drippy, as he should be. Heenan's always got the drip, but, like, this was a fucking step up. What a king. Okay, so help me out here, Austin. Kurt Hennig / Mr. Perfect is a name I hear bantied about, but he's one of those wrestlers that like I hear bantied about and people are like, oh fuck that guy, oh shit that guy, this is such a cool guy. But like I have seen Jack fuck about this guy. I know Jack fuck about this guy. What's the deal?
Yeah, sorry about that. His peak time is like early 90s WWF.
Okay.
So outside of our purview for the most part. But he did have extensive runs in the AWA and in the American Wrestling Association or something. I think that's what that's called. Mm-hmm. Then he came over to the WWF. He had a pretty solid run there. And then he spent a solid amount of time in WCW after that. His whole gimmick is that he is perfect. That's the shtick.
Does kind of explain the name.
Probably the best part of this shtick was when early New Generation, late Golden eras when they ran these. But they did like vignettes of him being the perfect athlete, and they would have him do shit like he bowls a 300, or he throws a football to himself, or he like shoots basketball and never misses because he's perfect.
That's deeply goofy. I love it.
It is fantastic.
That sounds great. No, okay.
Truly one of the great technically sound wrestlers of his day.
So like the epitome of indie darling then. Aside from his one like
For
mainstream.
that era of time, sure. I mean, the AWA was more mainstream than what could be defined as indie. But like for the 90s version of like what would an indie darling would look like, that's a fair way to look at it. He was absolutely the kind of wrestler that, you know, hardcore wrestling nerds love this guy.
Okay, that's cool. That if he's got that kind of cred behind him, that's fascinating. I can get behind that. So yeah, he's here, and then out the fuck. Wait, no. Before that, Lawler says on commentary, the brain is Heenan's agent. Good job, Lawler. But then fucking out comes Vamp, and holy shit, we want to talk about drip. Vamp's out here doing his best extra slutty Dr. Frankenfurter cosplay. Holy fuck. I
was wondering how to like mention that outfit, but that's the best way to describe it, I think.
Yeah, extra slutty Dr. Frankenfurter. Like his whole ass titty is open, is out in the open.
Hanging out here.
But like he's got the like black corset, he's got like this leather fucking dress sort of skirt thing beneath it. He's got the full makeup. My man is looking, oh boy. I was saying to Austin, this is the guy. This is the same guy. This is the same fucking weirdo I have heard say just the absolute dumbest shit on Lucha Underground commentary. This is the same convicted murderer who brought multiple people to their death by killing them via drinking game when he said his name a whole bunch in succession because he knew there was a drinking, or saying brother a whole bunch in succession because he knew there was a drinking game every time he said brother. Like, this is the same man. What happened?
He tried to be the normie, clearly, and like he tried to be Ian Hodgkinson, and this is what happens.
And turns out Ian Hodgkinson is just a fucking weirdo. But yeah.
So Vampiro, I did note also the piped-in crowd noise sound that I keep counting about happened during the entrance. Last time I noted it.
And apparently,
and you seem surprised to learn that in his prime, Vampiro was fucking athletic as hell.
Vampiro could schmoove, dude. I mean, I guess I'm not surprised. I know he was a quite talented dude who worked a whole bunch of different places. Like he worked WCW, didn't he?
Yes, he is very much in the came from WCW category of XWF wrestling.
Yeah, so he worked WCW. So I knew he had to have talent, but like seeing 2014 Ian Hodgkinson versus like 2001 Vampiro is like, holy fuck. My man is schmoovin'. He's got the moves for days. Holy fuck. I don't know what was happening, but it was incredible. This was like alongside the cruiserweight battle royale for like top match of the night for me, just because just seeing young Vampiro in action is like, holy shit, that's cool.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got such a great presence to him too.
Yeah, really short match like everything on the show, but I did make a note of a really sick, he does like a back kick but from the top rope.
Yeah.
Onto Kurt Hennig. I was like, what the fuck?
Dude, absolutely insane. Who is this man?
So the match ends where Bobby Heenan tries to pull like a foreign object on to help Kurt, and then outruns Roddy Piper to take the item away from Bobby Heenan. Then he clocks Kurt Hennig in the face.
Yeah,
and then Vampiro hits a body slam for the win.
Guess you can get, as always, you can get away with anything if you're a babyface. But see, here's the thing: this was another moment of like, okay, what the fuck are they doing with Roddy Piper's like GM character here? Because, okay, he comes out and he like takes the knucks from Heenan to stop fucking Bobby Hennig from, or not Bobby, but Kurt Hennig from winning. Kurt Hennig from winning. And then clocks Kurt Hennig in the face to make sure Vamp gets the dub. And like, I came up with an angle that I think is like more interesting than what they might have been starting to run with, because I thought this was going to lead to some shit of like, oh, they're leaning hard into the no politics, no prima donnas thing. Like, Roddy Piper just made a move to make sure the like more indie guy got the dub here. And I was like, wait, shit, is this about to be a whole like conspiracy from Roddy Piper where he like gets in the corner of all these like indie guys and like makes sure they win so that they can like
That
uphold
would
their
be
tag?
kind of sick.
Yeah,
Like,
it'd be a fucking interesting way to like meta commentary the shit you're doing. But that's not what they went for, is it?
nah, it's just set up some power play shit. Lena comes down. She's to also celebrate with Vampiro, and that is the end of the episode.
And and Heenan's mad about it like a fucking hypocrite.
Mm-hmm. How dare you cheat to win?
Only I can cheat to win. That's my job.
Yep. So we cut back to Brian Knobbs and Jimmy Hart being like, man, that was a great show. And then, but they also take this time to like pay tribute to Kurt Hennig and Road Warrior Hawk. Both men died in 2003.
Yeah.
And they're just like, well, we'll never forget you. We love you. We miss you. They do a weird audio cutoff on Jimmy, who's like trying to say, oh, they'll never be forgetting, that's for sure. And then they just cut to silence and hold on the tribute video
for
pack,
like
and then they go
seconds. And then they just cut back to,
we'll see you next time.
Yeah. That was a weird way to go out, but okay.
All right. So the first episode of the XWF, it was chaotic. It was kind of fun. It's hard to again, like we said at the top, it's hard to judge how good the XWF could have been based on this because it's both like we're cutting up moments from the actual tapings, plus this is a very piloty episode of like we got to introduce all the characters. So we're not doing like hardcore like storyline plotting that you could be like, oh, so this, like when they're doing like angles, this is what this is going to look like.
Yeah, I see. It's so interesting. We were talking about like its speculative place in history. It's so wild because I see echoes of what's to come in this tonight. Like I see I see a lot of I see a lot of like especially the DNA of TNA here. I did not mean for that to be as like corny as that line was. But yeah, I see a lot of like the DNA of TNA and Impact here, especially.
DNA don't non-action. That was the best I had.
Great job. Yeah. Yeah, fucking deoxyribonucleic action. There we go. Fucking,
there we go.
Yeah, but like that TNA especially is the stuff I see a lot of what feels like it'll be TNA shit early on. Like I see a lot of that, and then of course you got like the indie guy love that like Ring of Honor really especially pulled on. Like obviously TNA had the indie guys too, but like Ring of Honor really pulled on that shit, and like their emphasis on those type of guys here. That was very Ring of Honor-esque. And then, like, we're just here to do, like, just straight work matches here. That's very... I mean, their presentation of it did feel a tiny bit proto-AEW, too. Like, again, they were all shorter matches, but, like, just in the, like, consistent work. It's, like... It had, like... This feels like a prototype for like all of the like major American alternatives to come, and that's really interesting to me. And I don't know if we would have gotten TNA and ROH had XWF really come to fruition,
or
so many
like,
of its necessary components were there.
I will say ROH probably still happens because that was 100% a like joint of like we gotta fucking find something to replace ECW on the VHS tapes. But let's do Ring of Honor. So that probably still happens, but like, let's just say that XWF locks these guys down. And like how different Ring of Honor could have been if XWF is there ahead, who got there ahead of them. like that.
Yeah. I guess the question is like, what necessary components of the like major success of these companies that did really come to be were being kind of like bookmarked in XWF temporarily, and could ROH TNA have survived without some of those components?
Yeah.
Early, or would
In
they have been the same? Would they?
In like a speculative way, it feels like TNA is more likely to be hampered by something like an XWF. I don't, just because it feels like it's the kind of place Jarrett would have ended up.
Yeah,
and then
that's the
there's
thing.
no TNA.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, Jarrett could have been brought in. Like, I don't know if Jarrett could have pulled what he did with TNA with half the dudes that were in XWF, and like, because if they had kept those big names in XWF, more would have come, I feel like.
Yeah. But they would have been running the show like Jeff Jarrett, and instead of Jeff Jarrett, and it's like, would he have been like Jeff Jarrett was and still is a fantastic business mind in wrestling, and like he kept them going on pay-per-view only. I would argue that might be the biggest difference between why TNA still here and XWF isn't, is because the XWF was fully on like, we got to get on TV.
Yeah.
And Jarrett was like, Jarrett's like,
No, I'm agreeing. Jarrett's mind is too.
Jarrett was like, there's no way we're getting on TV. But what if we put this on like weekly pay-per-views just to get something started? We can work it. We can work the rest out later.
Yeah, Jarrett is like brilliant in terms of a booking and a marketing and development standpoint. I like TNA, from what I know of early TNA, should have fucking failed. But Jarrett, it's thanks to
the
like
booking is absolutely insane.
Yeah, but like fuck, Jarrett was so savvy that he made it a success. So would XWF have brought on Jarrett? Would Jarrett have been able to like help shit? Would Jarrett have felt differently about his abilities to succeed in the market without or with XWF there? Like,
yeah, because that's another question, is like, if XWF is there and does get on TV, and Jarrett still wants to make his own wrestling company again, like, does he think like maybe we can get on TV too?
But like, then that's also the thing of like, of Jarrett's not just going up against ROH. Jarrett's going up against ROH and XWF, and like that would have like he might have just felt he would have been oversaturating the market at that point. So like, who fucking knows? This is so fascinating. I am glad that XWF didn't survive, simply because like it felt as though like its two kind of spiritual successor babies in TNA and ROH were so much the better for kind of like divvying up their specializations and having kind of like a split between the two things that XWF, like basically XWF was trying to put all this stuff together simultaneously, and like ROH and TNA showed up a year later and like split some of the concepts there like in half and presented each one as its own like specialization within the companies. And I think the current landscape is more interesting for that, and I think both the products of TNA and ROH are better for that as well. And then we kind of, to me, and I know I speak from a biased perspective here, but like, to me, then it feels like we got the perfection of the formula with AEW of being able to kind of like remarry those two things, and create what XWF was trying to be in 2001.
I appreciate what XWF was going for, and I kind of agree that it's like, I feel TNA ROH both definitively do better what XWF was going for. So it's
because they split they took aspects of FWF and they're like, they each took like one kind of big aspect of XWF and they're like, all right, this is our specialty and we're gonna roll with it, and they refined really well on those things.
And it's like it is weird because like we talked about, XWF never did anything wrong within, as they never made any real mistakes business wise. So it's like,
yeah,
it's sad. It's kind of sad in that sense that it went under that way.
Yeah.
I appreciate it existing for like trying to give guys jobs even for a little bit in 01 and what was really like the hardest time in the industry to have jobs.
Yup. Yeah. Like there's doom and gloom in the air. ECW and WCW.
Like ECW and WCW were gone.
Yeah.
And like people have talked about how like the indies of the 2000s wasn't as sustainable job as like maybe the territories were, and that's fair. But in 2001, we didn't even have the indies yet.
God no. Like this is.
I think it might have just been like. I think like maybe like by this point, XPW and CZW out on the West Coast were getting started as like, what if we made it even more hardcore than ECW and also West Coast? But other than that, I don't know any other major indie company that was existing in 2001. Cannot think of the one.
I mean, I don't know any of them, so I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, so it's like I appreciate them seeing like, hey, maybe we can try to get it. Maybe we can try to take a different route from where the WWF is of trying to be like less crass and family friendly, and more family friendly, as well as trying to like get wrestlers back to work, even if silly is the whole like in your face, no more prima donnas.
I do really I do really appreciate, like, I thought the family friendly thing was gonna make it like really goofy and like way too like spiffy clean, but it didn't feel like a kiddie show to me. It felt like an adult show, and they just like didn't swear a whole lot.
Yeah. So that's I guess is my take. That's our take on the XWF. Like, I appreciate it for what it was, but I don't necessarily think the wrestling world would have been better in the timeline where it doesn't gonna get its knees cut out from under it before it has a chance to be anything.
And like we can never fully but it's I think we're looking at like it was probably I'm happy that it kind of that what happened because it allowed some like major aspects of the industry in America to get like specialized and refined by ROH and TNA, and now we're at a point where like kind of more, I guess, I mean, more XWF esque things can pop up, like AEW or whatever the fuck Freddie Prinze Jr. is putting together. Like we're at the point where like we can have like I mean, I guess AEW is more like, it's weird to call AEW like XWF esque, but like XWF feels like it was trying to be like WC again, like early WCW, and I think like that's a cool formula to roll with and a cool thing to like set as your foundation. But right now it was just that, a foundation. I think what XWF stands for is a fascinating blueprint of what was to come in the industry. And I think it's fine that that's its value, is just like a cool time capsule blueprint of what was to come.
Yeah. So that is it for our time here at the XWF. Next time, we are heading on down to 2013. Got to get the year right on this.
Yep.
As we are starting the Yes Movement arc as we begin the night after SummerSlam, where Daniel Bryan was screwed out of his WWE Championship by Triple H and Randy Orton.
I'm so excited, man. This arc, oh boy, getting to see the rise of one of the best boys of wrestling is gonna be oh man. incredible. I'm so excited.
Yep. But that is for next time. Until then, David, hit our plugs.
Yes, sir, my dear friends. Thank you so much for once again joining us in yet another episode of the Noobs and Knockouts Podcast. We are delighted to have you here. Hey, returning listeners, viewers, what have you. Thank you so much for being here. You know the drill. Thanks again for once again welcoming us back into your eardrums, your eyeballs, whatever it is you use to consume our content. We just love having you here. You know that. New people, hey, hi, how's it going? Thanks so much for being here. We here at the Noobs and Knockouts Podcast like to think we are friendly to both noobs and knockouts alike. So whether you are brand new to the wild, wacky world of wrestling or you're a veteran of all this weird bullshit, either way, we hope you feel welcome here. We hope you had a great time here. If you would like to keep having a great time with us week after week after week and you're not entirely sure how to do so, well, not to worry, my friends, I have you covered. First of all, you can find us on YouTube. We're the Noobs and Knockouts Podcast on YouTube. Hit subscribe, ring that bell, and make sure it turns a nice little solid color so you get notifications every single time we drop a brand new episode. It's a great time over there. Give us that sweet engagement if you'd be so kind. Check out all of our playlists, organized all of our storylines and arcs and shit into their own separate playlists, so you can follow something all the way down without having to do a whole lot of skippy. It's a good little helpful thing. And you can also see our beautiful, lovely faces on the video version and all the secret visual gags that we hide in here for all you folks.
Yeah, but of course, me trying to balance my laptop on this episode. Sorry about that, video viewers. I'll be back at my desk.
Me roll ROTFLOL, Austin. This balancing act of yours, top tier stuff. No, but of course we have the audio only version. If you don't want to see Austin's laptop balancing act, you can find us, of course, on 3 of the best places to find your podcast, which would be Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. Come give us a listen, download the show. Give us a nice little 5-star rating if you'd be so inclined, and maybe a little review that says, hey, these guys are pretty cool, maybe you should check them out. I don't know, I'm just saying. All your patronage, of course, appreciated in audio or video form. Noobs and Knockouts Podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. But of course, we also have social media that you can use to get in contact with us. Isn't that fun? So, of course, you can find us primarily on the Twitter at Noobs and Knoxpod. That's at Noobs, the letter N, Knoxpod on Twitter. Come check us out there. We post memes. We engage in discourse. We post every single time we drop a brand new episode, so you guys always know what the hell's going on. Of course, the highlight of our Twitter is weekly wrestling live tweeting. I've been at the helm of the Twitter recently every Wednesday night, or as many Wednesday nights as I can anyway. I am watching AEW Dynamite on TBS and tweetering about it. And then when I'm feeling extra spicy, like, hey, about 45 minutes after I get off this podcast call right here, right now, I watch AEW Rampage at 10 p.m. on TBS, and I rather like to tweeter about that, or on TNT, pardon me, and I rather like to tweeter about that one as well. We just like to have fun over there, and please, guys, I tweet out some bangers. It doesn't get nearly enough likes. Check it out. But on top of that, of course, Austin, the knockout that he is, does his due diligence to watch all of the major company pay-per-views and do some tweetering about those. My friend, what is on the docket coming up?
Sure. So on January 13th, we have Impact Wrestling Hard to Kill. With Josh Alexander versus Bully Ray for the Impact World Championship, and Jordan Grace versus Mickie James in a title versus career match for the Knockouts title.
Oh, shit.
Upcoming in the WWE on January 28th is the Royal Rumble.
Oh, it's rumbling in here.
It is 30 men and 30 women will enter, and only one man and one woman will leave with world title matches at WrestleMania.
Hell yeah, brother.
Then in AEW, all the way on March 5th, will be Revolution. One of their regular 4 annual pay-per-views. We obviously have no matches for yet.
It's a little ways off, in case you guys hadn't noticed.
But we will be mentioning those matches as they are added.
Absolutely. Come check us out on the Twitter, guys. It's a great time. If you like listening to us ramble about wrestling for like 2 hours for whatever reason, you'll get a similar experience over on the Twitter. Just come have fun. Do you like having fun? I like having fun. Come check out the Twitter at Noobs and Knockouts Pod. But of course, if you want to get in like super direct, long form contact with us, you can do that as well at our Gmail address. You can Gmail us, noobs and knockoutspod at gmail.com. That's noobs and knockoutspod at gmail.com. Come say hi to us. Tell us what you think about the show. Request wrestling arcs, stories, media companies, whatever, for us to watch and cover. Tell us how based and red pill do you think our hot takes are, or yell at us for our hot takes being stupid. Whatever. Either way, just come say hi. We love people saying hi. We would love to say hi back. Noobs and knockoutspod at gmail.com. And finally, of course, you can also find us on Patreon. We are also the Noobs and Knockouts Podcast on Patreon. The link for that is in the Twitter, of course. $1 a month gets you early access to episodes and a shout out at the end of each episode. Shout out to friend of the show, the Sugar Daddy, Kyle Smith, for being a delightful friend and a delightful patron of the show. Enjoy your perks, buddy. If you want to enjoy your perks alongside Kyle, you can subscribe to that good old Patreon, $1 a month on the Twitter, link on the Twitter for the Noobs and Knockouts Podcast, a Patreon.
See y'all next time.
Hasta luego.